I'm wise and old. I'm wise.
No, you're just old.
Okay, thank you,
Let me
Thousands,
get my
for streaming it
computer.
very much.
Let me go on my computer.
Let me open my scripts here. Okay, just in a few more seconds, guys. We're gonna start the officially start the meeting. Thank you, Blessing. We appreciate you very much. Mwah, 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 mwah.
I want to watch the Twitch stream. Haha. Is that so? Because you get it because I'm in the Twitch stream. Haha.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm just gonna shut up, I guess.
It's okay. It's okay.
Crazy.
Okay, we're gonna start. So first things first, I really want to get over the species, of course. But first things, let's talk about this character application and let's talk about your character sheets most of all, okay? Because right now I know everybody's writing their own character sheets, or they already sent them in, or if they've been denied, right? You should have been told reasons as to why you're denied. So let's talk about your character sheet guidelines first, right? So the very purpose of the character sheet that we gave you is it's your foundation for your in-game identity. We need it as staff because we have to use it to understand what you're going to do, what your character is, who they are, and especially how you are as a player. This information is going to help us translate your character accurately into our game world, because we're going to use plugins for a lot of things. And we have a lot of Bedrock players. We have a lot of lower device players. And we really, really don't want anybody to lag out or glitch out because of their devices. We don't want you guys spending money for such a thing, right? It would be very unfair. So for your character sheet, it would mainly include things like your character's fighting style, their abilities, their limitation, their moral boundaries, personal preferences, and their personality and core identity. We need to know these things because it's very, very important. It needs to help set it up. We really care about your character at the beginning. You can have a goal, of course. It's normal 100% to have a goal, but we don't want to hear about what your character is going to do or how they're going to end up, simply because this is an open world and it could end up any way it can imagine. So we don't want people accidentally crashing out because the story is not going the way they expect it to go, right? On what we need to know for relationships and lore rules. So if you want to establish a pre-existing bond with another player, like father-daughter, mother-daughter, siblings, best friends, or relationship, anything blood-related, please do ask for their permission first. A lot of people end up saying yes. Some people end up saying no. Please respect their answer no matter what. And make sure you discuss things in lore. Don't do anything without them say so, because it can lead to a lot of confusion. And of course, there's a lot of improv. Yes, Avery. Come here.
I don't know why it wouldn't let me just speak.
Of course.
That's weird.
Why would you want to stage? Okay, continue.
Not my computer.
Got it. Awesome. So now let's talk about characters, about being gods, immortals, and powerful entities. Okay, so because we have a lore, I think you guys might have heard when I talked about demons and devils. So they both exist in the world. It's just you cannot play as demons because we've taken inspiration from certain medieval games where demons are abyssal creatures. That means they don't have a body, they don't have a form. They're like gods, but they're in the evil sense, like the devil, right? Now we have devils, which are actual species that you can play, such as the tieflings, which they're from the infernal area. So they may be born, or their species community might be from the nether, right? So that's where they're from. Now, for immortal beings, we do have certain characters that have eternal use, or that immortal in some sense of longevity or life. But they're still affected by damage to either withering, to water, to lava, to sickness. So there's nobody that's extremely powerful or immortal to the point where nobody can absolutely kill them, you know, or hurt them, because that wouldn't be fair to have somebody with constant absolute protection, right? The same goes for the staff, of course. While we are playing the
Except me,
Sims,
though.
yes,
No,
for
I'm
the
kidding.
Sims, treat us more like, you can either treat us allies, enemies, or bosses, but think of us in a boss sense where we're going to help guide you or help be against you in the story. We do have certain mechanics to make us last a little bit longer, but only because some of us don't, they suck at playing Minecraft. That's it. A few of them do suck at playing Minecraft, so that's just it. They could still 100% be killed. It's okay. Yes, you can make a lot of jokes. You can make fun of the fellow Sims. Don't worry about it. We make fun of each other all the
Make fun of
time.
Avery. Please make fun of Avery. Especially.
Bro, if you make fun of me, I'm gonna take all of your counted lives.
Right. So anyway, there's also this discussion of background of training and experience, which this is acceptable. Let's say you want to be an experienced adventurer already, or you previously were a knight, or you previously were a vampire hunter, or you are one. You can absolutely do this in your backstory, but the only issue is that we do have a leveling up system, so you still need to level up your character. Now, you're starting off on the same mechanics as you would in vanilla Minecraft. You're just going to get more powerful gradually. So think you're starting off as a normal person and you're getting up to like this great heroic warrior or villain or in between or whatever you guys happen to go through.
I did have a question about that.
Yes.
Is it like as you play the game that your stats will like upgrade?
Yes, as you play the game, your stats will upgrade. So there's different stats between your species. Well, you will be upgraded in your magic or your abilities, or like a mermaid. You have a certain ability to swim faster and faster and faster, right? There's also some basic ones where you could still use magic, you could still use tools, and you could still use crafting. Everybody could still do that. It's just you still have to level it up more and more because of the added mechanics.
Do you have a space for the kitsune in the plugin?
Yes, there is a plugin for that.
Good.
It's the same one, the Mythical Races plugin, so it's covered.
Awesome.
Now talking about, I'm pretty sure I talked about you guys' starting point. We need to know who your character is at the beginning. This is also so important for you guys' application. We know you guys want to end up being something, and you can wish and you can hope, and that is great. I would love having a plan is great, but this is improv. Future plans, predicted story outcomes, what you will do later in the lore. Everybody starts at the same narrative baseline, and growth happens through gameplay. So oftentimes you will get a 9 because you're not talking about your character, what they will be doing presently, but what they will be doing towards the end of the world play, if that's understandable.
You guys can have like backgrounds and stuff, but we need to know where your character is starting out at.
Exactly. Your choices shape how characters respond to you. Your actions, the actions you take determine how the world and its players treat your character. So it's a certain way. Because there's so many different people, you can't predict what they're going to expect. Now, let's talk about the character sheet and the core choices. Or actually, does anyone have any questions about the previous things I discussed? You can raise a hand if you like, and you can add the floor for a little while, or you can put it in chat. I can give you 2 minutes to do that. Okay.
Look like anyone has any questions?
Okay. So let's talk about your core choices for your character sheet. Let's start with your background, explaining what it is. Your background is the outline of your character's history before the present timeline of the story. This is so you can provide us with a little bit more information, and if you need help on a setting or area, we can help you out with that or anything, okay? You need to provide how your character got to where they got and how they are currently. That's what your background helps with. Is your previous kingdom in ruins? Did your parents immigrate to another kingdom? Were they from greed and they immigrated to wrath? Do they belong to some of the sins? Did someone destroy their favorite toy and they're out for revenge? Or do they just have a simple life? They've always grew up in a nice, simple life and something changed. That can always happen. You can always have, a simple backstory, be a simple person, but no, you still have to participate in the lore, and to keep a simple life will be extremely, extremely difficult. You don't have to participate in the main lore, but you do have to participate in the lore. We've often gotten applications that say, well, we're farmers. We've grown up to be farmers, and that's great. You can absolutely be a farmer, but what else?
And you can't be like, oh, I want to make my own group and I want to have this like awesome thing with my own stuff. No. Okay. This is okay. Me. This is like what I really want for this server, because this is giving me so much creative freedom. I can actually choose what we want to do. Because last server I didn't get to do any of that. The old owner basically did everything for us. So now I can be a little bit more picky. I'm not saying the writers can tell me no or whatever. I'm just saying that I can actually do more stuff with the server. I don't want there to be a million different factions. Yes, you can join a group. Yes, you can make a smaller group with your friends. I do not care. As long as you're with a group and you're participating in that group's lore, I do not care what you do. Just please do not go off on your own, because if you do that, I'm gonna kick you out the server.
Yeah.
Not like fully out of the server, but I'm gonna kick you out of the Minecraft server, and you're gonna have to reapply, and you're gonna have to change your character because you're not doing that.
Exactly. The world is it's very big. We don't have a lot of limits to where you can go, so overall adventure is great. But we can't world play with you if you're gonna be so far on the other side of the map, and because of the live system, people aren't gonna go risking to go travel mountains to go over you. To expect other players just to travel to go work with you or do something, it's not something I would say you can do, but I wouldn't expect anybody to do it. I really wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So
we really need to get like a world border or something at 10k, because I know that there aren't. I think Cherry is the furthest out, and that's only to like 8,000 blocks one way. So
yes.
I think we can still do a world border, because I mean, it's still a lot, because it would be like 10,000 by 10,000 by 10,000 or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Great. So, does anybody have any questions about the background or something that we just discussed? Because those are very important things, and that's where people often made their mistakes in their applications. Okay, I see some people typing. I'll let you guys type.
Oh my god, you can probably hear my PC picking up on my microphone.
If you have any other previous ones, you can go ahead and ask.
Yeah, you can have a previous one.
Answer it. Yes, but it has to fit, mostly fit the theme. If you are fitting the theme and it's just what you make up, it's fine. You just have to go over everyone's and make sure that it doesn't contradict with the sins or the main lore background or anything like that. And right now, the main lore that the star fell and the sins appeared, and then there's something happened and all these different species and stuff in the world, and it's not just humans anymore. And people, that's what I mean.
There's
yes.
The vampire species. There is a vampire species there. If it's not, I'm pretty sure there's both a Dampier and a vampire species in the tab. I will try to add you in it in a few seconds. If I didn't add it, I'll make sure to add it because I'm quite sure I did. Maybe it's possibly still in the writers group, but I know it's there. Is it reasonable for a few people, me and a couple friends, to have come from a different realm and then join into the world, or should we think about changing that to something else? We don't have a different universe in Lord Thing. If you want to be from different countries,
like portals or anything.
Yeah. If we don't have we have like countries sort of, but they're not part of the map. Like the Eastern lands, they're not actually part of the map that we have, but they are mentioned in lore. So you can say you're part of different countries that might have a sort of magical sense or a certain Eastern, Western, Northern, or Southern influence, but you still have to be in the kingdom currently, and there has to be a reason as to why you're here, but not a
And you can
different
be
realm.
from the Nether or the End, depending on.
Yes.
I don't know if we have any End species, but that's not a question for me. We do have like what Moss said earlier, stuff from the Nether. So
Yeah,
you
I'll-
can, if you want to get something from the Nether, then you are more than welcome to.
Yes. I'll go over the reason why we don't have the end species soon, and the nether species later. So it's not there. Okay. I'll make sure to go over that, the vampires, don't worry. Because the vampires have their own mechanics, but it's the same mechanics as the Dampier.
You can screech, and you can turn it. I think you can bite people, and then you can get like bloodthirsty or whatever, and then you get like strength and speed.
Yeah. Working on the Dampiers and the vampires, currently, yeah, different species in their backstory. And then it depends on the transformation that they have, because you can be a hexblood where you can be from any species and you turn into the hexblood where you can keep the appearance but you lose all your abilities. But that is one of the only ones that we have. You could be a vampire and transformed into another one, but only the ones that are labeled with transformations, and I believe the only ones that are there are the vampires and the hexbloods. Also the phantoms, which are ghostly undead beings.
There is some workaround with that, because I know one person wanted to be like a fish or something. We were talking
Yes.
about they could have been like a fish or a human and got hit with some magic and then turned into a human. Or yeah, that's the person you were
Oh,
talking
that
about.
person, yeah.
We were talking about that in mod chat earlier. We said that since they're a fish but turned into human. They could be a mermaid. They could have been a mermaid and then they could have turned into a hexblood. They could do that, or they could have been a fish and then they got hit with magic and turned into a human, but still like kind of be classified as a mermaid in the species thing.
Just
So
when it
they
comes to
like
those,
keep their abilities, but still be a human.
yes. So just when the thing is about that when it comes to transformations, which is why I wanted to add that in a lot of half-blood characters, where you can be have this and or that and have a mixture of abilities. But because of the plugins, which I did test on another server to see if it would lag on lower devices, when I tried to add a mixture of that, which was only with 15 species at the time, it caused lag on my lower ones. So that's why I didn't add it, and you guys can only pick one. For transformation, I recommend just going to someone in the writer staff to see if they can approve that, because we want to allow a little bit of creative freedom, but just make sure it's within the species bracket that we gave you guys.
Yeah. But like you can only pick one species, but like I said, you could write into it like they were hit with magic thingy, and
Yes.
they were a fish and then they turned into a human. That's what I mean. That moth
Mhm.
is something else. Okay, don't get confused, please. I'm not saying that they can't do that. That moth isn't saying that they can't do that. We're just explaining as best as we can.
Yes. So if they can be cursed or hit with a spell, that's perfectly fine, but they need to match the mechanics of one of the races because of the plugin system. Normally, I had to say no to another person who had a transformation idea simply because we didn't have the mechanics for it. That's why. Because I don't want to kick half the server out because of lag or because they can't do something.
Do vampires come from Nether? I'm pretty sure they don't.
They do not. So the vampires are not from the Nether because they're weak to flames, fire, sun, and whatnot.
I mean, you can have like you went into Nether and then you got cursed by a vampire in the Nether?
If you can be transformed into a vampire from another vampire fight forcibly or with consent, but lore-wise, he wasn't a vampire before he was in the Nether.
And how that makes sense because, like, their weaknesses are like fire and sun.
Yeah, if you were a vampire and in the Nether, even if you were transformed that time, you would have most likely died in 2 seconds because of the vampire mechanics, which were incredibly difficult to do at the time. So it would be really difficult just to reconfigure. Okay, good. Avery answered that question. So let me speak on the races in your character application.
That is so real, Bossing. I am like half Irish and I burn really easily. I never tan. Actually, I have freckles from the sun, but I can't tan at all. I've used tanning oil, sunscreen, tanning sunscreen. Nothing works.
Right.
I
So
get a shade
moving-
lighter in the sun.
I'll definitely get to that in a second.
Yes.
I'm still on the character application, but don't worry, I'll answer your question soon, Azir.
Yeah, I'm gonna
For
bomb
your
Pride.
species, please, put one of from the list, because once you enter, you will be able to select your species, so you can get those mechanics. So you can be an elf, you can be a human, a dwarf, or a subspecies. You can be half of a
You guys should
species.
be
You can be a half dwarf and a half elf. You can be a half tiefling. You can be a half human. You can do a lot of things, but you can only pick the ability either one because it glitches too many people just to add a mixture of it, or just to even add an extra mechanic of it. 30 was the limit to keep everything fully right in my lore devices, which was like iPad 8, iPad 5.
Wait, can I
You
only
can be
half
a
vampire? Yeah. Probably.
There's two vampire species. There's a Dampier and there's a vampire species. The Dampier are half human, half vampire, and the vampires are full vampires. So you could be either of the two. I see vampires in my list when looking through the species thing, but maybe you guys
it's
don't
locked.
see it. Maybe it's accidentally locked. I'll fix it when I'm done with the meeting, guys, so you guys can double check the vampire stuff.
Yeah, you could. That's what Fat Moth just said. You could be a whatever that fucking word is. That's basically half human, half vampire, and it's just one. species.
So no,
you
because
can-
you still the Dampiers and vampire mechanics are very similar but different, but they still have the same weakness. Dampiers, when they don't have resistance to the sun, they're very sensitive to the sun. So if they were surrounded by hot nether and heat, that would be a very difficult thing for them. If they were from the nether originally and then came from into another world, then yeah, then they could be turned into a vampire and not come back.
We are real. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. This is just how vampires work. Do change have abilities in the plugin, and abilities do they have?
Yeah. If you want to be from the nether, I mean, I recommend the tieflings. They're a really, really great character. Perfect for weather. There's a lot of dragon infernal characters. Do changelings have abilities in the plugin, and what abilities they have? Yes, changelings do have abilities in the plugin. They will be able to shapeshift into other players. That is what they will be able to do. So it's a little bit of mechanic that are going to be a little different between mobile and Java. So usually you would just maybe shift click on another player and you can transform into them. Okay, so you can't do them if you're from a distance away. You can change the lore as much as you want, as long as it's before the lore officially starts, right? Or if it wasn't accepted. So you have a lot of time, guys. You guys still have a lot of time.
Oh, my ex talking stage just posted on Instagram and it gave me a notification.
Right. So just make
can
sure.
Kitsune and foxes in the plugin?
For kitsunes?
Yes.
Yes. There is a
We have,
plugin
like,
for the
a-
kitsunas for the illusion magic. They have a very specific mechanic from the mythical races. Let me see. For the vampires, Dampiers, Kitsunas, and Changeling, I will make a post of their abilities because they have a little extra something about controls. And even when you guys go into a server, you'll see commands and permissions. We're still testing things out, so we might change those controls to make it simpler. So I'm not going to tell you the full on. But for illusion, you might be able to change a block to look like something else when it isn't. Like, let's say lava. You can change lava to make it look like wood, and someone could walk into it. That would be pretty cool.
I'm gonna change everything to bedrock.
Yes. So that's very fun. For your abilities, yes, you'll be able to use controls. Don't worry about that. I'm gonna configure it to make it as simple.
Take a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know about controller or bedrock or much about it because I play on laptop. Even when playing on bedrock, I was playing on laptop. For controls, I think some of them will be commands, so it may take a moment for if you're on controller to put those commands in. But if you play on your phone or something, I think it'll just take like 2 seconds to just type something out.
Yeah, so the mobile ones will definitely be a lot easier. It's just we just gotta type the commands in for you guys. Because the configuration and the coding is done. And we just gotta do the titling, the controls a little bit. But you're gonna have /commissions and /permissions to do /choose race. You can do a /help for mythical races to get information from, a guide, a tree, a profile, another player's profile. We can set your race because we're mods. We can set biomes to certain races only. We have a race list and we have a level set. It's mostly typing command blocks, but it's also perma potions and a mythical maces plugin.
Yes.
Yeah. So
also,
the hard part is mainly done. We just got to really put it in.
Yeah. Also, make sure. Oh, I dropped my dinosaur. Make sure we're all on the same page about the rules. If you haven't checked those out, please check them out. I'm pretty sure all of you have, obviously, if you're asking stuff. But if you haven't checked out the rules, please do, because I did add some new stuff in there just to clarify. And also check out the server information stuff because we have some guidelines on lore. I did move those, so they are now on the correct channel. But please read through those because we are going over them right now, but we may miss some stuff, and I just want to make sure that everyone knows like what's going on. And if you do have any questions, my DMs are open, but we also have the ticket bot, so you can make a ticket whenever to ask any questions you need to. Some like small questions, because I know people are gonna do this for stupid questions that could have just been asked in general, and a non-mod could have asked, like, helped with it. For simple questions like, I don't really have an example, but like small questions can be asked in general and someone can help with it, they can. If no one knows, you can go to a ticket, but larger questions, like stuff about lore, if you need to ask something about lore, like clarifying stuff about the rules, stuff about the server, you can go ahead and make a ticket for that. If someone is bothering the server, if drama is happening, or any, make a ticket and then DM one of the mods so we can get there as soon as possible. Probably me, because I don't do anything except for online school, and then I have a job, which I barely have any hours at right now. So, excuse me. Yeah. So if you need me, I actually go to bed. I'm going to bed early now. I usually wake up around 7 a.m. EST. So I am up a little bit early. I am not up as late as other mods are, so I would try probably Hoshi first if it's late, me if it's in the early morning, and then anyone else you go to if it's in the afternoon.
Right. Also, guys, so now for the last thing on character application, this isn't necessary for you to add now, but about your character profession. It's not something you currently need to fill out, but think of it as your job and maybe what you're skilled at or what something you want to be skilled at. Your current job will most likely depend on the kingdom you are in because every sin has a different amount of jobs that in their kingdom that they mainly specialize in. You might see farmers be very common throughout all of them because everybody needs farmers. But for me, I do have a different amount of people with the medical air board and the supply chain. Or you can go to Wrath, where they're Wrath or Greed or Pride, where they have a little bit more military roles or guards.
For me,
So
I have mostly. Yeah, we. Okay, so you go into the official lore. If they have posted that, I want to make sure everyone has at least a color palette or something. I have mine. It's just dark blues, dark purples, etc. But I know in Pride, so I would ask Figgy about that. For jobs in the church. Ooh. Anyway, I am the high priest. Blessing is. Wait. No. Aaron is another priest. I have Bravo is a mod. Aaron is a priest, but I don't know if their character is automatically accepted since they're on team or not, so. But, yeah. Yeah, you're a pirate captain, you're not a priest. I got you guys messed up. And then Kiri's a wizard. He's not technically a part of the church, but he doesn't live nearby since he wants to be a loner and aloof. And then, Spades, whatever, I don't know how to say his name. He wants to build a library or something, or I don't know what they're doing, but I know he told me that he might build a library by Kiri's like witch towers.
I am hiring. So if any of y'all
Yes,
need a
Kiri is
job,
hiring. What?
hit me up.
So, also about your jobs, reputation will most likely be the best way for you to gain access things in the server because it's mainly players and we don't have NPCs. So, if you do start off with a career, that can actually start you off with a pretty solid reputation, which way you can get allies, or it might be people against you. You could be a lot of things. You could join Blessing's pirate crew, you can join the church, you can actually apply to be a right hand or be part of the guards or the nannies for one of the sins, or you could just be a resident there. Some people, because of my kingdom, it's a little bit more gritty and a lot more authority. People's jobs are chosen, but before we get into the lore, I will let you guys choose what district you want. You would just have to read my character, my kingdom lore. The most
Yeah,
common
if
job
you.
that
Sorry, I just wanted to add something onto like
it's
what
okay,
you're
you can
saying.
do it.
If you want to choose a job, you have to talk to the Sin or the priest about it, because I know everyone else has sins and I'm weird, whatever. You have to talk to the Sins or you have to talk to me about it. If you need help choosing your job, let me know, or the other Sins know. I'm sure they will all be like willing to help you. But it just depends on lore. If there's too many farmers, they might say no, we don't need any more farmers. If there's too many residents, they're gonna be like, oh, can you maybe choose a job? So because we need more people with jobs. It just depends on the sin, the kingdom, wherever you want to go. It depends on who's in charge.
Right, exactly. So, also one of the most common jobs, because I know people are gonna want to explore, is to be an adventurer. An adventurer is somebody who takes on task or request from your kingdom or from another kingdom's board. Now, to get this job, recently, because I know it's gonna be more common, you still have to be an origin from your kingdom. Um, because it's dangerous because of the three canon life system, which I will explain later on, but mostly you can be assigned a request. And I'll go a bit more into the adventures and the board because they do have their own little area. So just to make sure people don't break the rules, it doesn't mean you can go back on anything with the stuff we explained before about the kingdoms and origins. So let's talk about some of the basics that you guys pick. So, we need your first and your character's last name. We need your alignment, and your alignment is your moral code. It's your ethnical perspective. This will help build your character at the start and especially their actions, which it can sound like a limitation, but it actually makes it more descriptive, and it usually helps beginners, role players, to have a guide. And do not worry, your alignment can change over time. Character development can absolutely happen. I understand that. It's just I want you guys to know that the world here isn't gonna be black and white because of all the different laws, cultures, and societies that we have. It's just because the only thing that will really drive it is your character reputation. You know, some people won't think your flaws are too bad. Some people might hate you a lot. Some people will think you're an all evil villain for not selling them a piece of bread or because you had to save money. It happens, you know. Especially reputation. I know a lot of people want to be known famous heroes or known villains. Just know you really have to work on that, because one news will spread isn't going to be able to automatically spread to every other kingdom. You know what I mean? That's what's going to happen. So you really do have to work for that. See, you know, you can be a noble and a little morally gray. You can be a greedy banker, depending, you know, on your kingdom stuff. But you know, it helps get a good starting off. It could really be any character age. Just remember when writing your age, your species lore, because they do mature at different rates. You can't be like what, an elf and be 15 years old, because to them you would be like an infant. So, you know, make sure you really look into that, because I did add when they mature, when they're considered adults or elderly.
Yeah, like
And
my
now,
character is 100 years old because she has two tails. That in
exactly.
Kitsune's maturity, you know? Yeah. So after you do a little bit of research,
Mhm.
too, if you're really just, I don't know.
Yes, you can
Do it
absolutely
anyway.
do research. And then to make sure to fill out your character's personality traits. This includes your ideals, your bonds, your flaws, your positive traits. This is the part where you really get to flesh out your character. And if you need help on that, try starting with a positive and then fill them out with a direct negative from those positives. Like, let's say you wrote that your character's fun. Now, what's the negative to that? Well, me, if my character's fun, I'm going to say they're careless or they're annoying, or you know, they're using it to cover up their sadness and trauma. Or if they're kind, but they're actually naive, or they're kind, but, you know, they're only because of education or whatnot. Or if they're determined, that can mean that they're such a good person, but it also could mean that they're never satisfied. So every positive has its own negatives. So that's the best way to help if you're in a little bit of a stump there. And, you know, include your ideals and goals. You know, certain, if you want an ideal goal for your character to head towards, you can absolutely do that. But to expect that goal to be fulfilled, it's a little iffy. That's why I talked about that before. You know. Also for character skin designs, I understand if you have a little bit of a modern skin or something, because honestly, Minecraft Planet skin decks, it's really, really hard to find a good skin that will match entirely with every feature. It's as long as you have a feature to be able to identify. Now you're gonna get a name tag roll that will say your race, of course. But also, you know, it would be nice for elves to have long ears or giants to have their stony gray skin. Hexbloods have pastel shades of skin, vampires and their red eyes, and so it goes on. Just pick a few, one or two of the features to have on your Minecraft skin, and that is where you can look. It doesn't have to be every single thing, of course. Do not use any skins with an adult design, okay? I don't want to see anything inappropriate on there. If you're confused about a skin, you can send it over to me or one of the mods to ask about it. But mostly you can send it to me, because I'm going to be able to see it a lot to see if that can be approved. Now, let's say you're half blood. You are welcome to have both features, okay? But just know your abilities are limited due to plugins. So you really have a lot of freedom over it.
Man, I'm hungry. I'm gonna get some Oreos.
So just freedom. It's just at least something to at least properly identify you, right? And now another thing, just for a little fun, what is your character good at? What can you do? What is something you want to do? Like, of course, you know, your race and the way you're raised in a society will heavily impact that. Your race and background will tell you what language your character speak, what they read and write. Your proficiency is part of your level up system. But if you want to go towards one area like digging, archery, then that's fine. I'm still working on the leveling up system because I want to add a little bit more. But if you guys want an example, this can range from fishing, harvesting, farming, mining, weaponry, PvP, a lot of things. So many things.
I would say try not to add as much PvP into your
Yes.
character because overall this is a war server and there's not gonna be a lot of PvP and we are very strict about PvP here.
Yes,
If
we
you
are.
have a battle or the tournament or something, it has to go through the mods and then the mods have to take it to the owners and then we have to have a whole chat about it because we want to make sure that if we're doing a lore thing, we have to make sure is it canon deaths? Are people gonna lose canon deaths? We have to make sure if it's fun, if it's like a super event, if anyone's invited, if it's just you having a battle to like test your skills or like your abilities or whatever, just make sure you tell a mod or you put in chat, you say like sensual or consent after like kills you. Just so
Yeah.
I really hope that there's be a mod on the server like most of the time so we can see if someone says consent and then no one's freaking out.
Yeah. So here's the thing about the canon lives, guys. Once the of lore officially begins, everybody starts with 3 lives. If you lose all 3, your character is canonically considered deceased. This does not remove you from the server entirely. You may continue playing, but you cannot continue as your previous character. You will create a new character, and because you were already approved once, you will be prioritized in the review queue. Your new character must still be approved before returning to lore. Now, let's talk about what counts as a canon death. Now, I know Avery talked about this a little bit. There's a lot more detail. The only thing that's considered a canon death if it impacts or changes the lore, it is scripted, planned, or intentionally written into the story. So this could be between players or between mods. You can ask about it. But I understand this could cause issue with improv, and that would really suck. So if you don't like that, then you can place like, hey, you can kill me. That is fine. Or if you're playing an assassin and mercenary, honestly, just deny it. Deny the request if you can, because that is not great to have. If you just like, oh yay, this job, all your jobs are gonna end in a failure because all your victims say no, right? So, but most reasons, like when we're talking about asking for permission for killing, it's mainly like a major thing because if you kill someone consistently or they're on their last life very soon early, it's okay to say no to that because you guys want to prolong your character a little bit. But no, if it results from normal gameplay hazards, then that's fine. That's fine. If it results from normal game hazards, once lore has begins, mobs, fall damage, drowning, and other natural causes, it does count as a canon death. Which the reason this counts is because there are mechanics that actually prevent you from dying from natural deaths. Some species don't have mobs react to them. Almost every single one of you has feather falling or protection IV or dark vision or drowning or you're part of a kingdom, so you will most likely be protected. But because for lore, we are going to consider as a death, right?
Except for when it happens to me.
So
I the one of the like the during the first hour of the old server, I died at least 4 times trying to get diamonds.
yeah. So one of the reasons why I put the perma potion is because I know you guys will die a lot, and because of the request boards, you can have people do that for you in a trading system. So that helps a lot with the grading that people who don't like writing. Now again, you don't necessarily have to ask that person, "Hey, can I kill you?" But it just depends on a lot of factors that happen within the lore, right? Because I understand that will ruin a lot of things, and it's just going to make the loring a lot difficult. It's mostly just a rule so you guys don't repeatedly kill somebody 3 times because you don't like them or because somebody's abusing mechanics, right? So what does not count as a non-canon death is deaths that happen out of lore events. So let's like you're building your house or you're doing something, then that does not count. Death prevented by a totem of undying, which you can get, that is not banned, don't worry, is not counted. Death caused by a player you abusing a mechanic or killing you repeatedly with no lore purposes. Report these incidents and they will not be counted, but please inform us because if you don't report it, then we will count it. Deaths caused by lag, freezing, or technical issues, please report this as well so we don't count it. Being turned into a vampire or a dhampir or anything or a hexblood, this is a transformation, not a death. And then the resurrection rules. Resurrection is not guaranteed. It is a staff review process, and all staff members will discuss whether it is appropriate for your character and the story. Because this world includes undead species, there's a possibility that your original character may return, but only if they fit the approved undead categories. Sorry guys. If resurrection is considered, staff will determine how many lives you regain, whether your return is approved, when and where your character comes back, which levels, skills, and progress you retain and keep. Resurrection must serve the story and not undermine it. Now, does anybody have any questions at all? Because I'm sure people might on this particular subject. On the ones that don't count as lore deaths, okay. I can go over it again. So what doesn't count is, I believe what we're gonna do is we're gonna allow people to join the server to help build their houses, right? And if you die during that time, that won't count because the lore hasn't officially begun.
I feel like if people are streaming lore is going on in the server, and you die, that would either be counting it as a canon death, or if it doesn't impact the story, you can tell a mod, and we will decide if it counts.
Yes. If you were AFK, we have an AFK system that informs us if you were AFK or not. So if you die to a wandering mod at that time, it will not count. Mhm. So yeah. Also, going over the permission thing a bit again, just so it doesn't confuse anybody. Yes, it's between you. Technically, you do not need to ask somebody for permission. It's just starting out. We don't want people to die so soon in the beginning or around towards the end where things get difficult, because we don't want somebody going on a mass murder spree, right? That'd be difficult.
Yeah, and hopefully, lore deaths will be kind of scripted in, because I know it's improv, but if we're gonna have like a big lore event and like one of the sins is gonna get injured or lose one of their canon deaths, that would probably be scripted. You can
Yes.
also ask a mod to script your death in if you really want to die.
I would say mainly asking about this when it comes to staff or sins. The sins can absolutely die, we can die, of course. You can kill us, or we can die to natural deaths as well. It's just because there are certain effects that happens when characters dies. So we really want to make sure your death has an impact in the series. We don't want anybody to be forgotten about, right? So that is the reason for the 3 canon live system. So we can still have the lore side, but also the survival side, Anyone have any more questions at all that want me to go over? If it doesn't affect the lore, then no, I wouldn't say it necessarily counts, but it depends on what counts as not affected. Like if you're AFK or someone's killing you constantly. Like if this one person is killing you through all these 3 lives because they're after you for some reason, or we can't find a way to make it so impactful, then no, it does not count. Because we really want you to start building your own world where every player is fair. There is not any way to transfer a life between allied people, but if you request it, we can hopefully try to figure out a way. It just has to be under staff discussion during the lore. So you can request it to a staff and we can try to review it. You just have to tell us a lot of information.
Oh my
okay.
god.
So the next one is race and conduct guidelines. Now I know everybody knows about elves and dwarves and that they can be a little bit specious, right? There's going to be cultural tensions between fantasy races. And as you heard, greed is not allowed. Wrath and greed aren't allowing a few people to be in there. For example, dwarves may distrust elves, or humans as in the elves may be wary of changelings. Your character can choose to be open-minded, neutral, or uninterested in these biases, right? However, there's certain rules that are strict and non-negotiable. You may not use real-world slurs, references, real people, real groups, or real historical events. You may not repackage real-world racism, including anti-blackness or discrimination based on skin color, into fantasy terms. We gave you epithetics that you can use as sort of like slurs or name calling against certain species, and you can only use those. That's it.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can I call Figgy a faggot?
Can you call it what?
Figgy a faggot?
Yes.
Can I say
It's
faggot?
a Figgy.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, thank you.
we can call him a fanboy personally.
Yeah, but yeah.
Oh, this
I'm
ring.
gonna use the slurs I can reclaim, which it's fine. It won't get banned for saying the F word on stream, okay? I've done it many times before. I don't care. I'm a lesbian. I can say that. Oh. If people don't like it, cancel me, okay? I'll put my Twitter in the description.
It's not Blessing's fault, guys, if they say this.
Just
Okay,
bleep it out.
so
I don't know. Bleep it out.
we made these terms designed for the world play. So try not to twist them into real world hate speech, please.
But with Figgy, it's no.
Yeah. So,
Just
no
kidding.
excessive or performative racism either. The setting does not excuse to be constantly racist in character, harass other players, push boundaries under the guise of roleplay. So, understand that you cannot be constantly racist. Like, if that's your only personality that you're racist or you're specious, and it's gonna suck. That's
You're
gonna suck.
banned.
That's not actual character. That's just harassing people.
And you're banned forever.
Yeah. Cultural
And I
tension
can't
should
say
serve the
that.
story, not harm the community, right? Now, this is going to get people a little bit twisted. Equipment and magic guidelines. We do have a banned item, and that is the mace. The mace is not allowed in the server. While it can be fun in some series and other SMPs, it is extremely unbalanced in our environment. It allows players
I've
to
seen so
eliminate
many
other
people
players too
leave.
quickly and remove fair counterplay, especially with limited lives.
So many people have left the server already because they were so mad that the mace wasn't allowed, and they were like, "Oh, I want to be on the unstable universe SMP, so I'm gonna join this one, and I'm gonna use the mace, and I'm gonna be like Wembu." Literally,
Yeah.
the people that I've left have had Wembu mentioned in their profile or Wembu plastered all over their profile, and I got a really big laugh out of that because no, you're not gonna come in here and you're not gonna kill me because you're fucking trying to be Wembu. So yeah,
Yes.
this is
Plus, guys,
also a reoccurring rule because like most of us are like most of the mods and the OG people are from a different server, and they didn't have maces, so we personally are used to this and we're used to explaining why, but I know some people are gonna be butthurt about that and try to get me to give them one. And no. Because even if we like go in creative, give you a mace, it's on the floor, you're not gonna be able to pick it up. You're not gonna be able to use it. It's like physically banned, you can't hold it, you can't craft it, you can't use it.
yeah. Well,
It
not
should
even the
be.
staff can use it. We can't use it at all either.
Well, if we're
Plus,
up, I think we can because we bypass that, but we're not going to.
yeah. So also, guys, you guys have magical abilities that enhances your gameplays to the extreme anyway. So there's not a big reason for you to have a mace, because honestly, like some of your fists are literally the weapons. Oh, for the air charge are still there, but they're mainly there as abilities. You guys can like get an air charge at one point, but just
You
know
can
the
get
other
wing charge.
species have it permanently, and you guys just have it temporarily, obviously, because you guys have to
Yeah,
keep
me.
on getting it.
I have
Yes.
infinite wing charges.
Mm-hmm. But you do have a cooldown.
Yes, and I know some
Uh,
people are trying to like find loopholes for rules and stuff. If you try to say like, oh, maybe the mace shouldn't be banned and it should be like certain kinds of mace PvP, don't try to find loopholes. Don't try to get us to change our minds because these rules have been put out and they have been like set in stone for multiple servers now. We know these rules. We stick to these rules. They will not be changing anytime soon. You guys can do
Yeah.
any other PvP you want to, as long as it's of course. We don't want the bases. Okay? This isn't unstable. This is Heirs of the Fallen Star. We're not gonna get famous. You're not gonna get like become the next Wembu because you're the server. It's just something for fun and like something to like roleplay.
Yeah. So next thing on is about taking time off your AFK stuff. Now we said we do have systems that says you will be AFK. We understand that players need breaks. We absolutely do. Especially during ongoing roleplay. Like if you have to go do something in the middle that is unexpected or unplanned, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen all the time. It even happens between staff where we have to leave voice chat or planning because we have to do something. As long as you remain reasonably active, short absences are completely fine. If you need to be away for a week or more for something unexpected, just please inform the staff and your party members or a group or people you're role playing with so it's applicable. Because the way we can do this, if you're gone for a week, we can write that way into something. Like, let's say you can be written out temporarily in a lore friendly way. Like you fell under a temporary curse, you were affected by a spell, you're recovering from injuries, you take short vacations, you're spending a week passed out in a tavern like a drunk menace you are. I mean, that could be really fun. These explanations will help keep the story consistent with you. And you know, Gluttony is going to have some taverns, so if you want your character to be in a tavern for a week straight while you're gone, I think that would be pretty fun.
I have a tavern. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, well, mine's cooler. With my built
Nuh-uh.
children. Okay, now extended or indefinite inactivity. We want you to maintain an active, okay, we want you to be active and engage into the world. If you know you will be inactive for a longer period of time or even an uncertain long period of time, please notify the staff so we can help adjust things because we need to remove you if you guys aren't going to come back or if you're going to be gone for more than 2 weeks because we have to free a slot for another player. Now, of course, you know, it depends on the context of your situation and we'll discuss it with the staff. But if it stopped from keeping the story flowing and you take a position from somebody else who really wants to apply, then that would really suck because then you're just not going to be here. But we're going
Yeah,
to
we can try to find a way to write that into the server. If you say you're going through something personal, like with family or some like even legal stuff, if
Yes.
you let us know, of course you don't have to tell us like, oh, I'm going to the psych ward. You don't have to tell us that. Please don't. Any but you don't have to tell us anything. Just tell us that you're gonna be gone. You don't know when you're gonna come back. We can save your spot for a later time and keep your character, but we really have to like at least let some more people in. That also
Yeah.
goes with activity checks. I'm going to be doing activity checks. There's going to be stuff added to like tell us if you're going to be active, what days you can't be active, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If you're not active and you're not telling anyone or anything like that, you're going to get a notice, and if you don't give us a reason, you're going to get removed from the server and you're going to have to either apply again or you're gonna have to give us a good enough reason because don't just
Exactly.
join the server, get max gear, and then disappear.
Yeah.
Please take your time on the server so it stays fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to rush into a war, guys. Let's be honest. I mean, yes, we know a war is going to probably happen at one point, but we're not going to rush into it. Okay? It's fine. Because, you know, we're going to do a lot of fun stuff while you guys are AFK. You guys want to be put into a dungeon? Request it. I'm going to have you be put into a dungeon. What lore way to start off? That's a pretty good way to come back. You escaped a prison.
That's dope.
I think that'd be fun.
Or
That'd
you
be
can
pretty
even
fun.
be jailed. You can be like in a bedrock box and you have to like find your way to glitch out of it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cool ways. If you even have like a little trinkling idea of writing, send it over to me for your AFK while you're gone for a little while, and we can totally do that. Absolutely. You know, for long breaks. Now let's talk about long rests in lore. Not everything's about fighting. Not everything's about drama or conflict, right? good activities. Long rests are an excellent narrative tool that can allow your character to recover from injury, they can regain their strength, or just take a breather from between major events. Using long rests can not only enrich your actual life, but your personal lore, and it's going to help pace the story. And one thing we care about is player well-being, okay? Your health matters more than the game. Please avoid staying up for long hours without rest. Take care of yourself. Do not ruin your sleep schedule. Blink regularly. Did you know this generation blinks 50% less than the previous one because we're staring at screens and TVs all the time? Make sure to blink. I know you guys are manually blinking right now, okay? If your eyes burn, step away for at least like a few minutes. Like if you have to get back to the lore and you're doing something really important or you're super into it, just take like 5 minutes and put a warm or cool compression on it, because we don't want your eyes to hurt. This also counts for the staff. If you were on the game for long periods of hours and you say your eyes are burning, I will temporarily block you for 10 minutes. Yeah, a lot of this generation doesn't even remember how to blink.
So you're gonna make me manually start blinking, and I hate you.
Well, now you're blinking. I bet you weren't earlier. You're probably just staring at the screen with your wide eyes.
No, I was blinking because I was drawing an arm.
See, everyone's blinking now. I know because I said it, everyone's gonna blink. Now we're getting into the little bit of the fun stuff, the role playing. Now, role playing is the act of playing a role. In case your player, it's you as a player determining how your character thinks, acts, talks, and feels. Role playing is part of every aspect of the game. It comes forward during social interactions. Your character's quirk, mannerism, and personal influence how interaction revolve. There are 2 styles that are being allowed: the descriptive approach and the active approach. As we have players who use simple chat and those who can only access the chat box. Honestly, I don't want to like ban anybody because they don't have access to simple chat. That's not a rule. And personally, both chat box and the voice box works great. Most players can use a combination of both styles, both the chat and the mic, right? So for the chat box, you can take a bit more of a descriptive approach because I know it can take a while to type everything out that you need to feel. So for dialogue, please try to use quotation marks to indicate that your character is talking. This way, players can tell when you're being descriptive or you're speaking. Or you can simply do something like this. Envy spits out her drink, shocked by the statement her comrade made. She stomps over to Avery and slaps them. So think of it as a talking
Avery
in third
steps
person.
back in shock, touching her cheek tenderly. It stings. Why would you do that to me? She says angrily, winding back her fist and slamming it into Envy's face. That's what you get for being a whore. Okay, I'm sorry.
Right. Okay. Or you can. Right. So you can really do something like that. Is that not super fun, guys? Imagine you can write out a whole bar fight. That would be super cool. And we do approve of bar fights. We absolutely approve. Avery and Laura, you absolutely for that. You are getting bar fighted by me. You will get pummeled.
I'm gonna come to your tavern after a meeting with you, and we're gonna drink and we're gonna be friends and blah blah blah. And then you're gonna say something wrong, and I lash out on you, and then you slap me, and then I punch you in the face. We're gonna box.
You're gonna get taken down. You're gonna get taken down.
No, I'm gonna win because I'm gonna use my wind charge ability,
No.
and then I'm gonna illusion. I'm gonna blind you, and then I'm gonna pull out my
I'm
stick.
literally a witch. What are you
and
gonna do about that?
I'm gonna
I can
I'm gonna
smite
take
you
a
guys.
stake and
Join
I'm gonna
Envy,
put it through
become a
your heart.
Hexblood. You can smite people with lightning. You can
I can
level up
smite
how
people
many
anyway.
lightning you get.
I can
Who wants
smite
to make
people
me
anyway.
Thunderbringer references? Oh yeah, Betty's
I'm
absolutely
gonna demote Fat Moth, and then I'm going to smite her 50 times until she dies. Or
no.
them. I don't know your pronouns.
I'm a she/her.
Okay, because I've just been using them for you because I don't know.
Oh man, I didn't even know this. You don't need to write every action, but the simple emotion that you are conveying and who you are addressing and the way you're addressing them is kind of a little bit important when you're using the chat box, so people can tell. Or you can just move your player to go look at that person, so you can address that you're talking to them. It's pretty simple. For Mike,
Loki.
you can mainly just use active role playing. I mean, it would be a little. I guess you could technically use descriptive role playing on the mic if you want to. You can absolutely do that, but you have
Touch
the ability to take a
face.
bit more of an active approach.
Scratches my chin. That's interesting.
Yes. You might even echo your character's movement or body language since you have a little bit more access than the descriptive players do. Try bobbing your head a little bit. You don't have to, but you can just bob your head a little bit, hit people. The approach is more immersive than descriptive role playing, though you still need to describe things that can't be reasonably out, like indicate it in a dialogue sort of way. Don't worry about using some type of accent, even if your character has one. You can attempt to do a bad one. Just be known, you're probably gonna
Hello,
get made
mate.
fun
How
of
are
like
we
later
going
on.
today? Absolutely wonderful evening,
Yeah.
may I say.
Yes.
Guys, I had to learn a
Basically,
British accent for play, so if you need help, come to me. Trust me.
you can do one, or you can do or not do one. You just write in your character lore that you do have an accent if you do, and you cannot do one anyway. So, because I'm not gonna go try to do an accent, I'm really not. Now, drama and combat. Let's get into this. Now, I know you guys. Yes, you guys are allowed to curse inside the role play. You guys are absolutely allowed to curse. Yes. Recuperating, research, training, practicing your profession, partying, or simply relaxing with others. These activities all contribute to the world's lore. They help your character grow and keep their server feeling alive. We only have one requirement about role playing, and that is interaction. Do not expect every player to approach you first. Do not force players into scenes that they do not want to participate in. Okay? You can't use the descriptive of saying like, "Oh, hello, Hoshi's back." Okay, Avery's gonna go, but don't worry, Hoshi can replace him. Let's get Hoshi to replace him, huh? Hey, Hoshi. So your character personality, we understand if your character is shy, they're hesitant, they're reserved, they're awkward, or even a bit unpleasant or antisocial, or they're just evil altogether. Now, these are valid roleplay choices, okay? However, personality does not remove the need to engage with the world. Even a quiet or difficult character must make some effort to participate in the story. Having the expectation that other players are going to go to you because of the way you wrote your lore, it's just not going to happen that way. It's really not. Like, you try to like configure something. If you can even script a little bit on how it starts with another player with their permission, then you can. But just understand that other people aren't going to want to do that. And now reputation matters. Like I said, the most important thing, it isn't your PvP, it isn't your strength, it's not your leveling, it is your reputation. Reputation is a major part of this story. How you behave both in character and in how you treat other players shapes how others respond to you. If your character consistently drags others down, refuses to interact, create negative experience, makes scenes difficult or unpleasant, players may choose to avoid you. That is their right. You are allowed to do this to be a mean person, but players they might avoid you. So don't expect that to happen. Mutual effort. Roleplay is cooperative. You are expected to make an effort to interact, respect others' boundaries, contribute to scenes when you can. You do not need to be loud. You do not need to be outgoing or constantly active, but you do need to participate enough to keep the story moving. It doesn't have to be the main story, but as long as you're doing something, at least a story, you know? So, that's what we got, guys. Yes, Hoshi. Yes, Hoshi. Avery punched me, by the way. She basically descriptively punched me. I just want to tell you that. Can we all snitch on the fact that Avery punched me for no reason, guys? Can we all say that? Y'all say that? They punched me. What do you mean got no proof? They punched me. They punched me. For no reason. I didn't do anything. They just deliberately said that they punched me. Mm-hmm. They did. It's just, I can't believe they did it. I was just peacefully describing something and they did it. Now let's talk about each kingdom. Each kingdom is going to have their own rules, cultures, societies, and builds. Like I said, some will have a little bit of a color palette, you don't necessarily need to follow it by the exact shade or the exact block, right? You can still vary a little bit to include your species' own culture, their own personality. It's just know that certain materials, you won't be able to get them at the beginning of the lore, right? So it would be pretty difficult. It wouldn't make sense to have a snow igloo in a desert, right? That'd be a little weird. But like if you're a flower folk, you're gonna want to live in a pretty mushroom or flower. But you gotta be in a kingdom that matches that, right? If we see any metagamers, they will be murdered. Yes. Actually, Hoshi will specifically go after them. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, Raph. I forgot that mushroom house was your trigger word. Now let's get to the skills and the leveling. I'm sure you guys are asking questions about that. So crafting basics. You guys can craft the same thing, anything you can do in vanilla Minecraft, by the way. You're not limited to a lot of stuff other than, weaknesses to sun or something, right? You can include everything, standard equipment, tools. You guys can even trade for enchantment books, right? You can guys still do that. You can craft magical items. You can access it. But just know a lot of stuff is tied to a leveling system. So the new stuff that is added by the plugin, it's hidden behind a wall that you have to try to unlock. That means you cannot use certain stuff at full proficiency. That's it. Enchantments are not permanent unless they're earned through gameplay progression, but your race grants you early access to certain abilities and gets you a lot of abilities permanently. Mermaids, you want to breathe underwater constantly? You got Dolphin's Grace and you can do whatever. That's pretty cool. This ensures a balanced progression for all players. Each race comes with built-in strengths and weaknesses. These are innate traits, not enchantments. For example, dwarves naturally possess increased haste, fast mining, night vision. While these effects can be mitigated by potions or enchantments, those are temporary boosts. And while I do know there's infinite potions, those are very hard to get. And I'm not gonna lie, it very easily makes you a target when it comes to spreading reputation. That's why reputation is more important, because people will absolutely go after you. They don't need to ask your permission at that point, because at that point we're halfway into the game, so they could just kill you. And they're eventually going to expire. So racial abilities are just meant to help shape your gameplay, influence your character strengths, and add depth to the world play and building. They're meant to grant permanent magical effects outside the intended system. While you can be half race due to be unable to add plugins or handle the configuration that can create a balanced version or give them their own abilities, you will have to choose one, and that will be your dominant trait. But you can absolutely do whatever for your character design and your name. Have some really cool names, guys. Even there were stupid stuff that Gacha Kid would pick. I'm gonna pick the stupidest cringy name as possible. My name's Envy. It's already cringy. Right? Now, Kingdom's laws. I think I already went over this. The laws, currency, social standards, reputation is local, not universal. Remember, so you guys got to go over to different ones. And there's different culture differences, right? There are a few species that you have their own biome that aren't part of a sin, but still put one in just in case, because you're still going to want a main one to have at least an alliance with, right? Now, one of the important things, lag farms and builds. Farms, whether automatic or manual, are fully allowed. You guys are 100% allowed to have an automatic farm. You guys can have that if you want. They help players gather materials without risking unnecessary death, especially when lore is active. Every life matters. No one should lose 2 canon lives just trying to collect sugarcane. However, to protect performance for bedrock players and those on lower end devices, all farms must follow these rules. Farm size and production limits. Automatic farms are allowed, but their size and output must be limited. We will limit them depending on the lag and when we get into the server, when we put the plugins in officially. Oversized or high-tick farms that cause lags will need to be reduced or redesigned. Staff may request adjustments if a farm negatively impacts server performances. Now, I did test these plugins already on my own device. The only difference is that I didn't have a numerous amount of players that we are going to have. That is it. If we do not have lag, and I could add a little bit more to abilities and species, I can hopefully do something to add special stuff like curses, where you guys can hopefully transform into something else. But take that with a grain of salt, because that most likely will not happen. Now, for form appearance or placement. Forms are functional rather than beautiful, but they still need to fit into the world. Yes, they must fit the kingdom design. Players must design and cover their farm so they blend into the environment. Place them under or beside within their home or structure land claims, use sheds, barns, cellars, or creative designs to hide redstone or machinery. You'll be given time to complete these builds because we understand you're not going to be able to cover them up like so quickly, right? Yes, we do have land claims, guys. Don't worry, we have land claims. You can colonize something. Just, the more you colonize, it's whatever, right? You get more targets on your backs, right? Personally, I did colonize quite a bit, my character. Yes, how the Dutch colonized their country, or the British, or London, right, guys? Who's a colonizer, huh? Raise your hand. Huh? No? No one? Okay, no one's gonna colonize. Fine, guess it's just gonna be me. Jesus Christ. God, what a crowd. What a crowd. Gosh. The French colonize, fine. Well, you could at least colonize other people back. I don't know. Reparations. Gosh. Only me, guys. Okay, so I already talked about the kingdom society themes. The wood elves, there's some species that do live in the biomes. The elves actually have their own biomes, so they don't need to be in a sense kingdom. Awesome. But please pick a role in the Discord tag so we can organize you guys and see what you guys are doing. The wood elves live in tall tree biomes. They do not use silver, gold, redstone to score, or modern materials. They built with natural resources. Cherry wood or bright pink structures do not fit their lore or self-based culture. There's also high elves, dark elves. There's even the dwarves who also have their own biome, and the giants who have their own biome. So those three have their own biomes. So, the build, make sure it just reflects the culture and environment of your aesthetic there. So yes, you can live in those regions without being in the Sense Kingdom. Got it? That's completely fine, but you still do have to belong to one. Just like have a citizenship though, like low key. Each has its own theme, blah, blah, blah. I discussed that. You can have creativity in your design, inspiration from your species, culture elements, add fantasy appropriate flair that enhances the story. That's great. I'm pretty sure I talked to relationship, guys. Relationships. I know you guys are gonna want to have some tragic Romeo or Juliet relationships, or somebody's gonna want to kill your partner. Trust me, the moment people hear that you're in a romantic relationship or you're gonna have a canon marriage, people are gonna try to kill you. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Who wants to have a wed wedding in the lore? Raise your hand. Come on. Say it. Who's off?
I know B and Liz do.
Exactly. Come on, let's say yeah, guys. Let's say yeah to a wed wedding. Let's go. Come on. Exactly, blessing. Exactly. Gosh, you guys are morally good people, huh? You just want to have some. You just guys want to be peaceful, don't you? Jesus Christ. God. Exactly. I hope your marriage sucks. I hope your marriage just sucks, guys. You guys don't want to have a little fun, little red wedding? Little wed wedding? Just, it is very dangerous to be a guest at a wedding. But to be even more dangerous to be the bride and groom. So, I mean, personally, I'd rather be on the side that kills them instead of being the side that gets killed, right? Right? Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. Yeah, exactly, guys. You agree with me. Because you guys are being silent, I'm saying you guys agree with me. Automatically, science is the answer to yes.
I don't think anyone agrees with you, Pookie.
They basically agree with me because they're silent. They're saying that they disagree, but in their hearts, they agree because they would love to see it.
Yeah, from a distance.
Now, pre-established relationship can be developed through worldplay, but you also may choose to begin the lore with a pre-established connection. If you want a pre-developed relationship, family, friendship, rivalry, or romantic, you must speak with the other player first. Do not pressure anyone into family roles that they do not want. That would suck. Do not call me mommy or daddy if I don't want you to. I mean, they see you in the name. I'm gonna be dressed as mother and father as my kingdom name. But like example, right? Do not. If players agree, you may create a blood-related family at the start or midway through the species. Yes, you both can be different species, even if you're both pure blood, because that's genetics can work 100% like that. Just make sure you both show that you have parentage of that shows why, right? If both players agree, okay, reputation may be shared. The actions of one family member can influence how others view you depending on their behavior, allies, and kingdom and culture, right? I don't have an underlying trauma. Thank you. Romantic roleplay is allowed under strict safety rules. Age requirements. For age, this accounts both in lore and in real world, right, guys? Okay, so the real life age groups of other players and the character's age group. You need to know that. If the ages aren't compatible, no romantic relationship is allowed. That means the relationship can have a 3-year gap. I will allow a 3-year gap at most for both in player and in lore. Now, I understand there's different character species, so try to correlate a little bit there, guys, okay? Got it. Hoshi, we already talked about your relationship. You made me do a bunch of math for no reason, so yours is allowed. Making me panic. Oof. If ages are incompatible, no roleplay is allowed. You cannot proceed with any romantic scenes if the player does not provide their age group. If they don't provide anything, the staff or you, it cannot be allowed. And if we see you do it, you will be warned. Safety monitoring. If staff becomes aware of a relationship in lore, they will review it to ensure the player's safety. We are extremely strict about this because we do not want grooming. We don't want manipulation. We don't want you giving your address to other people. Understand? Let's be smart. You have safety internet procedures you were taught in elementary, okay? Okay? Don't get kidnapped, guys. And beginning force. I'm really great at math list. I'm really great. So absolutely forbidden. Any romantic or sexual wordplay involving a minor character or player is not allowed. Grooming, coercion, manipulation, sexual content, and implied is not allowed. Manipulating a child character in a story sense, tricking them, lying to them is allowed, but anything romantic or sexually related is strictly prohibited. So I feel like that's some basic rules that we all should know, right? Right? The sin of lust represents desire, not sexual contact. It does not grant permission for sexual behavior and inappropriate wordplay, even if you're from that kingdom. Hoshi will explain to you more in their own group about it and when they get the floor. Exactly. If you guys don't choose lust, doesn't mean y'all get to commit bad stuff, like they said. Hey, Avery.
If you just choose my church,
Awesome.
if you do anything wrong, I sacrifice you to the warden.
Exactly. So we're just talking about the lust. Flirting in boundaries. I know some people will have characters that are very flirty. Sexual harassment is not tolerated. If someone tells you to stop flirting, I don't care if it's part of your character. You better give them boundaries or you will be kicked. Stop immediately. Respect boundaries without argument. Make sure to discuss it a little bit before flirting or initiating romantic tension. Ask the other player if they are comfortable with it. If they decline or do not specify age group, you must interact with them normally. No flirting. You can do teasing, banter, and playful interactions without romantic or sexual undertones. Those are perfectly acceptable. If you don't know how to do that, ask Koshi. They're amazing at it. Koshi's a really good role player. They're really good at improv and they know a lot. Respectfully. Yeah. It's from obfuscation. You basically, like, I don't know, kill people teasing. You're really good at it. You're the one who gave me advice on it, and I don't know how to do that because whatever. And you're actually in a relationship. You're in a relationship. You're the only one who can give advice for it. You're the only one who could give
No one
advice if you're in a
answered my
relationship.
question.
Yes.
No one wants to romance me.
People will want to romance you later. Your kids know. Oh, just
man.
because of trauma. Okay, well then go to you guys can ask me or try to go to the
Oh,
sim.
thank you, blessing. I appreciate it.
Now, relationships can absolutely develop in lore, and it can happen naturally. Just be sure of each other's age groups, please. Do not lie about your age. If we ever figure out, you will automatically be banned. The person who you tricked won't be banned because they didn't know. Yandere, jealousy, and excessive loves. Jealousy is a natural character emotion. Is it completely acceptable in roleplay? Characters can feel possessive, insecure, or protective without issue. We understand if it's your character's driving force. Now, when it comes to love, please communicate with your lore partner on this concept, especially when you guys are going to be a little bit toxic, right? Some people are going to have a little bit toxic lore. Some people are expecting true love lore, and some people are expecting a little bit more toxic lore. If you want to be surprised, be surprised. But if you guys talk about discussing it, that can only happen with adult players. right? I mean, you could be like
Anyway.
a toxic relationship with the younger people, but you need less of a discussion when it comes to adult people, right? Let's not try to traumatize other people, right? Let's not have a Mino here, right?
Also, aware of you and your partner's actual ages.
Mhm.
Please, if 18, we have some unks here, and you want to have someone's character and you want to be a love interest. If their actual age is like 15 or 16, do not. Please, I don't want to have, even if role playing, that's still weird because the
Mhm.
maturity gap, the age gap, all of that, no. Also,
Exactly.
14-year-olds can join the server. Don't worry about that. People under 14 cannot. This
Exactly.
is because of maturity and stuff. I would like to have it 15, but I want to give some, because I know some 14-year-olds could be really mature. I want to give some people a chance. And someone already joined and they were 13. So I don't I don't want 13-year-olds here. I would rather not talk to 13-year-olds at all, which is a part of the reason why I did 14. Yeah, so if you're 14, you're fine. If you're turning 14 in like a day, I guess that's fine. But the person that just joined life, I can talk about this because whatever. Application said that they were turning 14 in July. It's January, by the way. They're not joining the server. They could join back in a couple months, but no. Even if it survives that many months. Gosh, I should speak bad about that, but still.
Yeah. So Avery's right about that. Exactly what we went over about that. Especially people 20 or older. I am 20 years old. Understand that I am an adult. You are an adult. We both know. We are taught. We have maturity. As you go older, you learn rules. You learn standards. You learn society. You learn compassion. You learn tolerance. You have and are expected on a higher level. I don't want to hear some shit. Stuff of you blaming children for stuff. I expect you to be the adult in this situation. I don't expect you that, okay?
Like who said that, bro? Oh my god.
Exactly. Okay, you gotta call me grandma. Thank you very much. If I hear about that, you will be held responsible incredibly. I don't care about that. If a child tries to initiate with anything, you are responsible. You are not a little innocent person. You are behind a screen, by the way. To get manipulated on such a level is idiotic. Do you understand me? Thank you very much. I will immediately be the one to talk to any adults who do break the rules. You will be speaking to me as the adult staff in the server. Okay?
Gulp.
If you
I'm
have questions
scared.
about me, you will address me, okay? Thank you very much. Ooh, I
I
hope that's
didn't
not
mean
very intimidating.
to.
I tried my best. I tried my best.
I'm sorry, mom.
Mom.
No, I can say
Okay.
that Hoshi's character is technically like a father figure.
Yes. Great. Remember, adults, children, when interacting adults, some people don't want to be your father figure or your mother figure. You might want to have found family in the Lord, which is very popular trope, and that is allowed. But if they feel uncomfortable, please, 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 please respect it. Absolutely respect it. You know, some people feel very uncomfortable. Some are they're just turning 20. Some are just doing stuff. They do not want children. Some people don't want children, like figuratively, literally. Okay, they don't want to
Hoshi,
babysit. They want to have fun.
I was trying to figure out Lorsi Hoshi, and then Hoshi was like, I'm gonna adopt you. And I'm like, oh, okay. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you, I guess.
some
My
are
parents are
okay
dead,
with
so.
adopting you, some aren't. So let's be respectful in that area. Before engaging in jealousy or driven behavior or obsessive behavior, which is that yandere tendency love, I get that. There's
Except for
different
Milo.
tones to it. Discuss the tone and limits that you can have with the other person and how far you can go. Nothing too inappropriate, please, because this is a public server with children. Confirm what they are comfortable with it. Please have a long conversation beforehand in the world play. Adjust your relationship if they express discomfort. And if you're going to do this in front of a group, please try to discuss a little bit with your party members because some people don't want to be around such toxicity, right? Some people don't want to do that. It's normal.
Yeah,
This
I
type of
will
role play
say,
is hard.
sorry, there is a member, their name is Milo Evil. A big part of their character is pretty much like obsessing over everyone. And like I want you guys to be aware of that as members. That is just their character. They're not like a weird person though. It's
Yeah.
often lighthearted. They will talk about um this a little sensitive if people are sensitive. Not talking about wearing your skin, like eating you or cannibalistic themes and stuff. That is part of their character. It has been part of their character. Um, Tell them, let them know they're pretty weird. Let them know if you're uncomfortable with that. If your guys are gonna react, because I don't want them having to change their character entirely because one person is uncomfortable with it. Just if you're uncomfortable, let someone know, even if it's not Milo or if it's like someone else being that way towards you. Please let them know, and if they continue to do it, please let them know because
Yes.
they will get a warning and they will get a start talking to.
Exactly. And remember, you guys, yes, you guys can play evil characters or turn to evil people, but remember, obsessive love is not the same as playing an evil character who kills somebody, right? In lore, it involves emotional intensity that's not violence, and therefore requires extra care to avoid making another player feel comfortable. Got it? So I feel like that's the guidelines. Now we're done with the bad stuff. And let's talk about our species, guys. I know you guys were waiting about that. The species in the species list that I gave you. Yes. Oh, we're definitely talking about ads and recording, guys. So it's gonna be really great. If you guys are willing to be part of recordings, just know we do have some streamers, but don't expect to be part of the big lore SMP. Like the ones that I've heard about. I'm sorry, I never really watched quite a big lot of them at the other
This is
spots.
not
I
Dream
don't know.
SMP. This is not Unstable. This is not Lifesteal. This is Heirs of the Fallen Star. Okay,
Yeah.
we are separate people. Please don't try to be like content creators. If you want to stream, go ahead. If you want to send me ads you have made, go ahead. I'll post them. If I like them enough. Just please be original. Don't try to copy some stuff from Unstable or anything. Also, yes, if you want to let us know if you start streaming, we will probably put a list of people's Twitch handles or whatever they stream on, so people can watch lore. But exactly, I saw that. I think it was that one Wembu person that left because they didn't like the rules or something. I don't know. Saw that.
He was
Please,
denied his
please,
suggestion.
yeah, please. I'm begging. My hands are clasped together right now. Okay. Do not compare people to other characters, especially if it's like from Stable or Severe stuff. I did. I mean, as long as I'm a bad person, if it's in like a good way of like, oh, you remind me of Technoblade or something, that I would consider that a good thing. If you're just only saying like, oh, your character is similar to this person, you're calling them. No, no, no.
Yes. To be known, we do have streamers on. I'm not going to tell you specific names because that is something that they will want to do on their own, because I do have a list of every streamer. Please come to me if you are, so I can just inherently make sure you didn't record or say any inappropriate comments. So I will be watching to make sure you guys did do anything that is inappropriate. Understand, I will be monitoring that as well. Thank you very much. If you're gonna record and post it on YouTube, also please inform me, or TikTok or small clips. Also inform me just to make sure you don't do anything inappropriate. I will know, and eventually, because there's tags and the system does work. I'm pretty well versed in that, as long as I'm not Discord or whatever the other thing is called.
Yeah, if you're posting on TikTok, please use the hashtag #FallenStar or something similar to that, so we can go on TikTok and see anything, or tag the official account every time you post. And or I think I might make a channel for people to post TikToks that they created. Post it in there before you post, just so we can make sure it doesn't give the server a bad look. It doesn't ruin our it's just make sure it's not bad.
Yes.
And
I've
I
already
swear, if
seen.
someone makes a 90-page document about me, I'm gonna start crying.
Yeah. So, be known, guys, be nice to the other people in here, in the streamers, because don't harass them on making content for you or them to make art for you. Please, please, please. That is the reason why I'm not telling them their username, You can go to the channel if they allow you to or if they recommend you to. Please just don't harass them. I know it's a shock over who's here and who isn't here, but just let them chill. They're also here to have fun. Reminder. That's it.
I asked some
But-
people, asked Sinus to make like an ad or something, but I just asked. Don't be mad at me. I just asked them because I can't draw very well yet. What's going
Yes.
on at the event? What do you mean event? What event? Oh, Valentine's Day. Iggy is in charge of that, so I am not completely sure. I think as soon as we get everyone that actually wants to be in the event, you will start putting names in and doing drawings. It's gonna be
Yes.
completely random. You're gonna get assigned a person, and then the day is Valentine's Day.
Right.
But that's all I know
Uh,
so far. I might
yes.
text her about that
Iggy
and ask her.
isn't coming back till late tonight, guys, so probably won't be an update from them, but you can ask them questions tomorrow. Just don't overburden them, please, please, please.
I will text them personally. Please do not ping her or anything. Just let me ask her, and I will give you guys an answer as soon as possible.
Yes, thank you. Now let's go over the species, guys. Who's ready to do that? I'm sure some people, you guys were waiting for that. I know. I had to go over the list of rules. So let's start from all the way in the bottom. Let's start with our ocean biome characters. Now these people live in the ocean biome, and there is certain coordinates where you guys can follow, okay? So you guys can follow and you guys can live there and build there. You may not kill me. No, you may not kill me. Thank you. So let's start off. Let's start off with our mermaids. General, this one was made by Arine. They are really, let's say thank you to Arine for making these great species. You can ask them a little bit more on the ocean species. There isn't a lot of them because there's stuff to discover in lore, and there's going to be oceanic secrets. So when you go talk to them, please talk to Arine and talk to your people there because there's some great mysteries that you guys can look at. Mermaids are half human, half fish creatures that live in any biome of the ocean, their bodies adapting to their different types of water. Deep water mermaids could take on forms of anglerfish, and freshwater mermaids have more colorful appearance to blend with their coral. Now said, if you guys cannot figure out a skin or find a skin or make a skin that's to do anything, that is perfectly fine. We get it. We get it, understandably. I will spend hours looking at skin decks, and I'll get frustrated because I can't find something with my mocha frappuccino nice skin, okay? Right? Now the sirens. Oof, sirens are the darker version of mermaids. These creatures have grayish skin, black tails, and dark eyes. Normally, they have black hair, mostly long enough to wrap around themselves as they lure in people. They sing about what sailors desire, taking on the form of loved ones to lure them into the water. They drown the men and eat their flesh. These creatures have no soul and tend to take on more grotesque versions of creatures. Now let's talking about charming characters, by the way. Predation, right? That is an ability. That is a certain ability, right, guys? So I'm going to try to make a mechanic for specifically those with charm and persuasion. Just know, the only thing is, meant you guys start off with a pretty well reputation because you guys are physically pretty by human standards or by the sin standards. Let's put on, like, for standard, it's going to be sins and then it's going to be humans because, they're both colonizers in a way. I definitely am. Except Raph, because, they're weak. Over that. You can't. How are you gonna have Simon's native to your land? That's crazy.
Excuse me, Missy.
Oop.
Who you calling me? Missy.
Why do you just pop up? Okay. Now let's go over
Gets
the
remuted.
Selkie. Let's go with Selkie, guys. Human creatures that are part seal, spending half their time on land and water. Selkies shed their skin when they climb onto land, taking on humanoid appearances. Selkies can only become humans once every 7 years, and they need their seal skin to return to the water. If a human takes their skin, they will not be able to return, leading to Selkie brides that pass down their seal genes to their children. You can either be a seal child, or you one of those like ones that have those genes passed on, or you could be a seal bride. Unlike the other ocean mechanics that you guys can actually breathe on land. The mermaids and the sirens cannot unless they have potions or other enchantments to do that. Don't worry. If you guys do want to explore on lands as mermaids and sirens, you will need to get certain equipment to be able to do that. I won't tell you how because that is your own discovery to make within the server. But it should be pretty easy to do. I'm telling you, like, I do give you guys constant advantages here. Trust me. Mm-hmm. Oh shoot, Nizia, I know you had a question with the species. Do you want to ask that? Or I don't know.
No. Shut up,
Okay.
Nizia.
Okay. Now let's talk about the elves. The elves have their own biome. The elves are
Everyone
a
is out
group
of
of practically extinct people. So I'm going over the origins of these elves currently. At least the original race of elves were. They were a group of magical people known to live on for centuries. They adore nature. After all, the only way to connect to magic is through a connection with nature, close to the arts, music. They used to be elegant, graceful. God, they were even the image of it. They were literally the image of grace and beauty. They also prefer to use diplomatic methods before violence, no matter the foe. But before the Finns arrived, they were the image of the beauty of the living world. The people would roam even before the Finns arrived, but sadly, due to species separation from each other to protect themselves, they gone creating new parts and no longer having such a strong connection to nature. That is the origin, that is the ancestry of it, okay? Whew. Take a breather here. The Sky Elves. I'm not going to try to commit those scientific names. I don't know why I put them. I put them because I made them difficult and they looked really cool. The Sky Elves, they do rule, okay, authority. They do have any rule over Earth. They do not have any rule over Earth, but they do have rule over the Skylands. The Skylands are biomes that are in the sky. They're literally floating islands, which were added. We did have a bit of a plug-in to update the biomes so they look really pretty. And there's some other cooler biomes that are super, super cool that you guys can explore later on the series. But if they see another species on the island, they will in fact imprison them. Yes, they will. And they will put you through a trial, okay? You'll be put through a trial. And to be honest, over there, it's guilty before proven innocent, okay? It will be decided. You will either be executed or thrown up the sky. Make sure you defend you guys well because that will be canon to a life. They do not have to ask you if you are guilty or innocent. I mean, they can, but they can decide on that for you. If you go up there, you're kind of risking a canon life. But that will make it fun, doesn't it? So history. Let's talk about the history of these guys. These guys are assholes. Okay. They're assholes. If you guys want to be someone who's just like selfish in a way, don't worry, guys. I'll go over the gnomes in a second. Don't worry. Once they sensed the danger coming from the Finns, they knew diplomatic relations would do no good, as eventually they would be overtaken. So this group was the first to leave their elven siblings. This means that they are a subspecies of the elves. Subspecies or species that will have, different elemental backgrounds. They're the same overall, but there's a little bit of difference in appearance or abilities, right? Whew. As eventually they would be overtaken. So this group was the first to leave their elven siblings. They decided to migrate to the Skylands, previously where the bird folk lived. They long knew both races couldn't stay on the island, so with the focus on survival, they took out the bird folk's wings and pushed them off, killing majority of them. Really fun, right? Colonizers, to talk about. Crazy. Evolution, because they rarely mix blood with other species, they still hold similarity to the old elves, unlike the other species who migrated elsewhere, right? But they faced eternal differences. They became delicate, but their blood flow increased. They healed faster, and waste is removed much faster. That means they have less pimples, guys. Their acne is basically clear automatically. Yay. I wish I had that ability. Although the older they get, they have higher risk of heart issues as they have high attitudes, are the reason for the high blood flow. Watch out for the medical reasons, guys. There's a medical ward for a reason. And if you don't go, understand these effects may come at a bit of a surprise. They do not respond kindly to outsiders, and even respond negatively to other elf subspecies because of the history. Since they didn't come with them at the first sight of danger, and because they mix blood with others, they believe themselves to be pure elves, most connected to the old elves. They greatly think themselves superior. The perfect image of war and power of elves. Pretty cool, guys, right? Woo! God, I need a little breath, right? Okay, equipment. Although they lack wings, they've torn the bird folk wings and kept them. Mixing their knowledge, they use it to create wings only given to the soldiers of this race. They cannot control them perfectly and can only use them to glide unless you have fireworks. They mainly prefer the tropical skylands, but they do preoccupy the winter skyland to send their young for training. Super cool. Oof. Okay, let's go over to the wood elves. These are species. Remember, guys, when I wrote them, only a few of them. I wanted everybody to have a subspecies, but I wasn't able to do that, sadly, because it did glitched a lot. So let's talk about the wood elves, guys. Okay, I think people are gonna lean into the wood elves at one point. The green elves, the forest elves, and even called the wild elves by the sky elves. Okay, let me take a breather. After the Sky Elves left, they stayed to defend their lands. They refused to leave nature, but after seeing the factories envy created, they knew as well they had to leave. They truly believed in diplomacy, but knew after seeing it for themselves it wasn't possible, unless they stayed under the Sin's rules. So they looked for a forest with tall trees where they built up watchtower bases and homes all the way up high, allowing the tall trees to be their walls. They cared for nature so much they couldn't dare to part with their connection. Since the travel was easier for those without magic connection, the wood elves have the biggest population. Evolution, they are accustomed to natural lifestyles and are at home whenever nature surrounds them. They are similar to all elves since they don't mind mixing with other elves. They are tall in height and build, and they are physically much stronger than any other elf subspecies. So that means you guys will be getting a bigger enhancement in strength a little bit. So if you guys want something a little bit there, just there's going to be little hints about you guys' abilities inside there, even if it's not listed, okay? They see themselves as guardians of the forest. So they are suspicious of outsiders, do not always respond kindly, and will analyze the situation before jumping to murder a person. They aren't blood hungry, just protective. They hold elves, even the sky elves, in high regards. They view themselves in the same as any other elves. They do not mind any other species that occupy their nature's land as long as there is no harm done to the ecosystem. Now, if you guys want to start a war, a small civil war in lore, then let's start destroying the trees, right? Let them die. Let them die. They may even trade, preferring to be diplomatics to prevent destructions, although they do not have a sense of security, right? Or they do have a sense of security. They don't have a strong contempt for other species, but they won't go out of their way to protect them without reason. So although they are nice, to expect protection when your life is in danger is much more difficult. Don't fall out of a tree, guys. Don't fall out of a tree. If you guys die to a tree, I'm gonna specifically have a board of deaths, and whoever has the most embarrassing will have a prize and a foolish nickname. Yeah, they will be called Avery.
Hey,
Avery.
sorry guys, I'm distracted. I'm scrolling on Facebook
That's right.
because I'm talking my cousin's wife.
For the list of fools on the embarrassing board, there is 3 lists. You can either become Avery, Raph, or Figgy, the femboy. These are the titles that you
No,
can win.
it's not because you said you cancel me. I just got a Facebook notification and I wanted to see what pet was missing in my tent. And then I scrolled down a little bit and I see my cousin's bitch ass wife, excuse my language.
Now,
Our
anyone
entire family
just
hates her, so.
okay. Does anyone have any questions about the species? Because I realize just going over them, I'm gonna get a dry throat. So does anybody have specific questions about the character lore or the species that I can help out with currently right now? At
I feel like we should
all.
move on to verb species because people know how to read.
That's true. You guys do know how to read. So if you have any extra questions that you feel like is not mentioned, do mermaids and sirens swim faster underwater? Yes, they do swim faster underwater, actually. They will be given dolphin's grace, so you swim as fast as a dolphin. That is what you get as an ocean creature. You also can breathe underwater forever.
Do they mine
You just
faster? Is what
can't
they're
live
asking.
on land. Forever.
Do
Yes,
they
forever.
mine faster?
Do they mine faster? They can mine the same amount in water because if you notice in Minecraft, you do mine slower when you're in underwater. So they do have fast digging and fast mining, but over time you do have to level them up because digging and mining is a skill level that you need to level up. So think of like you have the same mechanics as any other player starting off. You're just more enhanced when it comes to water, so it doesn't prevent you from playing as a normal player.
Okay, question, do we start off at like the lower levels so we can barely
You
like
start off
break a
in the
bit of
middle, like the same way you start off in any Minecraft. It's not like we're gonna make you so slow you can
Okay.
barely move. You're gonna be the same
Okay.
Minecraft that you get in vanilla version.
I'm gonna
You just
get
slowly enhancements.
level and I'm gonna be so fast. I'm gonna mine instantly and I'm fly.
Right. We can try to fly. Selkies, yes, they can
All I
both
have to
live
do
on land
is
and water. So because they can both live on land and water, yes, they can breathe on both. And they do have appliance to about both as well, but they do have their own weaknesses. Like I said, reputation is everything, and because they want to be captured. If you go on land, you do have risk of being captured because there are bounties out for your head, or not for your head, but your skin. So just so you know, the lore is spread out. People can put stuff and have money spread out because it's not against the kingdom laws to say, hey, we want some Selkie skin, right? And you know, a lot of people like to play evil characters, right? I'm telling you, we saw a lot of applications saying, like, I want to be evil. Let me get it straight. I'm going to be evil, straight up. So, not only that, even though you might want to level up some of your crafts or your art, you got to be careful about your survival here, guys. What does the Selkie skin do? It helps transform you into a seal. Now, technically, we don't have seals. But I'm going to see if we can make an animal transformation where those people can turn into fish creatures or seals, and then you guys can swim underwater faster. Got it? This is about configuration. I just want to check if it works with a large amount of
Oh,
people.
heck yeah. Sorry, I saw Yowie on my For You
Yeah.
page.
Yeah. People that are able to transform are the Kitsunas, the Selkies, and the Changelings, which
Yay!
all require an illusion magic. The
Yay!
Kitsunas can transform into other people, but they can also transform into a fox. But they are weak as
Yay.
heck. The only thing they
Aw.
have is a wind charge, and as cool as that sounds, as first thing, which they can throw at you, they're pretty easy to fight. Even those who suck at PvP. As you know, Avery, I don't think Avery's a good PvPer.
Okay, you know what? Just because I lost the bracket fight we did in the other server does not mean I'm that bad. Even if I had fully enchanted netherite armor, fully enchanted swords, pots, and get golden apples,
They died in like 2
I
seconds,
beat
guys.
Cherry.
They died in
Beat
2
Cherry,
seconds.
okay? You're gonna
Cherry's a
steal all
beginner.
my stuff? I don't have anything!
Oh, guys, by the way, you can 100% steal stuff. There are guilds for it to be a thief. Do you have to ask permission? Technically, no, in the middle of the server, but in the beginning of the server, you do have to ask. You can only do it once lore starts. But just you
Only
know,
in
you will be
lore.
said
It
as
can
a
only
criminal if
impact
you are
lore.
caught or anybody sees you. There can be an investigation, and people can have bounties all over your head in the kingdom, and you can go to jail. What stops you?
Please,
Because I know. Sorry, you can go.
please only do that in lore and during lore, and if you are assigned to be stealing something from a kingdom. If you
Oh, yes.
are going to steal because you were assigned to do that, please let the mod know and who specifically you steal from,
Yeah.
so we know.
You are
Because
angry.
if you're gonna say that you're from a kingdom and you're supposed to be stealing stuff and you steal all of someone's items, that you leave anything just the head, you will get banned and you will not get any of those items for yourself. If it's a part of war, it's a part of war. If it's not, then you're just being a dickhead.
Exactly.
No, I
So
know.
we just
It
really
works
need to
talking
be
about that.
informed. So just ask staff about that. Don't try to take everything, please. Just to make sure that you guys aren't griefers. Okay, we just want to make sure you guys aren't griefers. Try to be clear because last time people almost thought I was a griefer because I was sneaking into people's houses because I want to look at them.
Oh
I
yes.
know.
Also, TNT and mob explosions are off. My griefing is off. Fire spread will probably be off as well, just to prevent griefing. And that does, yeah.
Let's pay for more creeper
It
drama.
does. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay, so if creepers blow up, they still can kill you. It just doesn't do any damage to the block.
Yes.
I'm hoping that's set up already. No, I'm just
Yes,
saying
it's
so.
set up.
But no, you cannot light off. I think you can't light off TNT. I think we should
They
change
can
that.
light it, it just doesn't do any damage. Like it does
I think
damage,
we
but
need.
it's
I
not
think
gonna
we should
destroy.
change that. For like I don't know if beds still explode, but for like netherite mining and stuff.
Yeah. If you guys die in the nether to a bed, I'm counting that as a canon light. That's dumb. I'm counting
But
it.
also, we are not hold accountable for any of your items. If you die and you lose your items, no, we will not be replacing them. If you die in the net to lava, we will not be replacing them. We are not accountable for your items.
Yeah.
For your items. Get it? Okay.
Exactly,
We will not
guys.
be replacing giving anyone items, cheating items in. We're doing that here.
So does anyone want to talk about their morals or their characters or their setup? Because I know you guys said you wanted to be evil, or you guys said you wanted to be good. Now, a lot of them mainly with the character application. I want to talk about why their stuff got denied, or what can get them denied. Because some people did get denied because you guys didn't give us enough. It's okay to give us too much. It's really okay to give us too much. But you guys do need to add a little bit more. It's okay not to exactly have a character. Like you could say in the application why is part of it. Like you can do a different character on your character sheet, but it still has to be approved. But give us something on what you think could happen. Because we understand you might adjust it depending on the rules or the species or the suggestions, right? That's
As
okay.
long as you give us some ideas, like brainstorm ideas, and not just leave it blank, say like I don't have an idea for a character yet. Please do not do it, because what the application is seeing, looking for creativity, good characters, and good writing, especially good writing. If you can't be creative, if you have to use AI, if you can't rely on your resources, this isn't the server for you, I fear. If you need to try to be creative with your character, basically just your character, I guess. Because I don't know if everyone's gonna be doing a lot of writing. That's why we have writers. But you need to be creative with your character. They need to be accepted. After your application is accepted, we're gonna be looking at your characters, which we really need to do. We really need to look at characters because a lot of the OT people have put in characters, and they are priority elements, so we need to go through
Yeah.
those. Because I've read through some characters, I like them, but I can't really do that myself because Figgy will yell at me.
Yes. And by the way, you can try again to apply as long as you adjust anything. We've had people come in and we've had some people do an application 3 times, but they didn't change anything. Like some people, they just changed the smallest a bit and then didn't change what we gave them advice for. So when we deny you, you will most likely get a reason as to why we denied you. If you want more
Yes,
details,
if
then
that
explain.
reason, yeah,
You
if
go.
you add that stuff and you get, if in the DM you get, if you were denied, it tells you if you can reply or not, okay? If we don't give you an option to reapply, you can make it and try to appeal it. But overall, if we say you can reapply, go ahead and reapply. If we don't, you need to ask us before you do, because you might not get seen again. We might not give you another chance. It all just
Exactly.
depends on some of the factors we look for and some of the stuff we watch out for. There's
Yes.
some things that we're trying to stay away from, and we're trying to like not have in our server. PvP is a big one since we're going to be really strict on PvP. I think I said that earlier. So if you do put PvP on your application, that's not necessarily a bad thing. We just look at it because, okay, some PvPers are joining servers to PvP, and it's incredibly annoying. If you have good writing, you have a good character, you still put PvP because you like PvP, that's fine. It's just a small red flag that we look out for on each application. And yeah, if you have a really bad application, if you PvP in almost everything, you're getting immediately denied. I'm sorry. I will not give you another chance.
because you're all about PvP. That is not what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And we already had one like that, and the person was 13 too.
Yeah. Like I get it. They're thankful for being honest about your application, but like you're clearly breaking the rules. So we're gonna, yeah, you're not gonna get accepted. Clearly. And especially on another thing, especially. Oh frick! Why did I forget what I was gonna mention? Okay, yes I do. There will be certain lore things that are written, but there isn't necessarily an end written. Like I said before, staff do have certain things you might have heard, like the skulk infection. Now, understand, we say infection as an infection is a bad thing. It is not an enhancement, okay? If you want to ask to be infected, please ask Figgy, because Figgy will give you. Well, well, you don't have to.
No.
Don't
No,
at them. Please
ask
don't at them.
me.
Don't do that. But the thing is,
Ask me.
yes, when it comes to asking staff about lore stuff, certain things you need to discover in the lore. You have the chance to discover it if you want to. You have the freedom to do that. You have the freedom to do another story. As long as you're participating in the story, I don't care. I don't care. Really. Like, that's what you gotta do. But, some people are submitting their character sheets, even though they looked at the species, they're putting things that I cannot do currently. Now, if you want to do something, be cursed, be enhanced, do something that can happen mid-lore, just please ask me if that can be done, because it's really about a mechanic issue.
About the skull confection thing, please come to me because my church is the main part of that. So I don't know what you said, Figgy, but please come to me because that is
Yeah.
that is a part of my church. I'm not mad at you for that. By the way, I'm just saying, clarifying. Please come to me first. If you can talk
Yes.
to another mod and they can relay it to me if I'm not available, but please talk to me. You kind of have to be near the church or in church or something like that. I mean, technically you can be other like kingdoms and stuff since there is deep parks all around the world and stuff. You can be a part of that.
Welcome back to another Minecraft video, and today we're going to be subscribing and liking my YouTube channel.
Shut up, Figgy.
Everyone throw tomatoes at Figgy.
Tomato. You
Tomato.
interrupted me, and now I forgot. Forgot my train of thought. Anyway, I remember. There's deep darks all over the world. Yes, you can be a part of the skull confection. That was kind of. My brain are flowing slowly right now, so I might contradict myself sometimes. But yeah, come to me, a mod, have them relay a message to me, ask about it, I'll let you know. You don't necessarily have to be a part of the church, but the church is the main area of the skull confection because that's where it originated. Yeah.
Exactly, guys. Now, let's talk about some of the Sin's kingdoms, because I know you guys need help picking the kingdoms and whatnot. So let me start with the greatest one of them all, right? Envy.
No, get out of here. So let me
No.
expose it. She has child labor workers. Child
Pride
labor.
You
has
have
slaves.
slaves!
No, okay,
You
listen.
only
I
have slaves!
take care of my slaves. I take care of them.
I
There's a
basically take care of mine enough. Listen, guys.
difference.
The reason you want to pick envy, because yes, there is child and dead church servants, but envy is one of the ugliest sin. But that's what makes it stands out the most, right? These other ones are gonna put you in such satisfaction and comfort that you won't be able to do anything, guys. It's about
Not my
challenge
church.
yourself,
Not my church.
giving yourself a goal. Envy is just inspiration wrapped in an uglier font. I
Yeah,
am literally
sins all suck.
determination,
Come to me.
amazingness.
This suck.
Like,
Yeah, man, but like, listen, you have so many opportunities to become to pride because you don't have to be traumatized. You could be traumatized, but you don't have to be. You could be indigenous if you really wanted to, man. Like, there are even like their own ethnicities and everything. Like, bro, you should come over to Pride. You
who
have
doesn't
so
want
many
to be it?
You could be
I'm
a
dead.
slave, you could be a citizen, you could be like a guard, you could be like you could just bathe because we have like those hot pools, except it's not a pool, it's like
Hot
a more
spring.
natural thing. A
It's
hot spring,
nasty.
yes. A hot spring.
You don't know what's in that hot spring, guys. You want to go work with Figgy, who basically worked in the skull confection. You don't want to be near water around these people and Avery, especially Avery, who's also working on the skull confection with the church. You guys want to be infected? That's a black peg. That's a black plague, basically.
It's not though, because it's a gift from the gods, bro. You would be
You see,
more spiritually connected.
I prepare you guys. I help your immune system by allowing you to work in these gritty conditions. Poison
Stop,
won't
I have
affect you
a
because of the
tree.
water I'm feeding you. It's
Stop.
water.
I have
won't
a big
affect your
tree.
flavor.
Infinite oxygen. Big tree, infinite oxygen, okay? And you don't have to build your house because I have village houses. Whoa. And they're custom made. Whoa. It's big
Guys.
and it's awesome.
We are literally the supply kingdom. Everybody needs envy, okay? They need me no matter what, okay? We are the supply. We are magic. We are witches. Who does not want to be a witch?
Burst your bubble, but you
I have
Who
a
does
good-
want to smite
wrong
people?
earlier. You forgot an important detail. Okay,
Like what?
so hold my eyeballs and look at me in my hands because you do realize that the infection isn't out just for the Church of however you pronounce it, right? It's for more than just the church.
I know that, but basically you're the starting point. Who wants to live, guys?
Pineapple, I know you just in the server and you're asking to how to verify. I want to say this here because I don't want to fucking type right now. So first, read the rules thoroughly, please. Get some roles. Look over the server information of the guidelines and all the character stuff. You should probably create a character before doing the application because that will, that is one of the questions we ask you about your character and all that stuff. Please be descriptive on your application. Do not
Grace not yapping because you don't fucking have anything
one.
yet.
Please, if you don't have anything come to mind and you just want to get the application done and over with, brainstorm ideas. You have like 3 hours to complete it. It's fine. Make sure you put in a lot of effort because we are. I said this is fair you marker for it. We are looking for good creativity, good writing, and good characters. We are not looking as much for PvPers or any of that sort because it's not unstable. This is not the Dream SMP. This is the Heirs of the Star. It's a completely different thing.
Listen,
It is
guys.
a lore server, so we are all about lore and we're all about creative writing and creating things.
Yeah. Also, guys, think about it. Biggie, Raps, Glunnies, all of their lists, if you go look at it, it's yap, yap, yap. I gave you bulletin point. Look how easy that is. Simple. We got factions. You guys like a little Hunger Games and a little Promised Neverland. Who doesn't love to wordplay that? Who doesn't learn play? You know what? If you want to talk about the good sins, the best sins are lust, gluttony, envy. Ignore the others. Right?
And the church.
No.
Huh? What the hell are you guys talking about?
No,
Shut up, Butter.
listen.
The
Please read.
we're at the
Say.
part where
Okay,
we're
the
talking about
pineapple person just left after I explained all that.
Okay,
Yeah.
look,
This is
it-
pissing me off. Why are people joining and then immediately leaving after I explain all about character and lore and not about
They're
PvP?
probably
it's our time. Wait,
Yeah.
Literally
Plus,
not
we reviewed it. We reviewed everything on Lore 101 and the rules and the guidelines and a little bit of the species guides. What's up? What's up? Now we're talking about our kingdoms. Our kingdoms. So let's just try to give them a little bit more information, to help them change if they want to change something else, Think about what works for your character, right? Think about what works for that, right? You guys kind of want a goal to do something, don't you? It's a little hard to start off. Why don't you start off with trying to do a job? Working on an island.
Joining a freaking kingdom that's freaking infested with dirty water. No.
It's gonna help their immune system.
okay.
So
So
Get server muted. Ah!
I will tell you why you don't want to join Pride. Okay? Pride, you see, this is the one who started it all if you think about violent turns. Pride was the first sin in heaven. Dude, if you think about it, everything is their fault. So why do you want to go where probably the difficult kingdom's gonna be? That's Pride.
Okay, so what the flip? So we
See,
have
like Ziggy, why we come back to that? So, like our kingdom
Nah,
get put
you
down.
cannot be so dead ass. Oh my goodness.
Now the best
Oh,
kingdoms, the top 3 are gluttony, envy, and lust. Those are the best kingdoms to be in. Greed, pride,
No.
and the church don't.
No,
Oh.
guys.
we are supposed to extend the kingdom.
Exactly.
You're right, you're right.
That
You're not
Okay,
supposed
like
to put down each
above
other, guys.
everyone else.
Okay,
they're
you're right.
freaking.
Figgy, you can start with your kingdom first. You can explain it.
Oh, you want me to?
Yeah, you can start since you're the first in heaven.
Aw,
Okay,
thank
cool.
you.
Silent for a minute.
Everything's your fucking fault.
Aw, yay. That just means that I was more assertive than your cowardly ass. Anyway.
Nuh-uh.
Okay, so basically my kingdom, it's in the Badlands, and it's also in, like, just kind of like it goes out towards, mesas, anything that's really, like, desertish-like, but in a more hot biome. It can't be, like, an ice desert or anything. I'm gonna go into the color palette as well, because I don't know if, like, any of y'all are gonna be in Pride, but if you are gonna be Pride, most of our palettes are, like, red, oranges, deep brown, sandy, tans, pale yellows, muted terracotta, and then for accents, we have like pale sky blue, grayish white, dark muted tones. See, it's got a very peak color palette if you ask me. But I'm not gonna be too prideful about that. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, there isn't actually like a main hotspot for it. Hold on, I got it. Yeah.
I think we should wait for Figgy to get talking to whoever we're talking
Figgy
to.
got. Oh my gosh.
Absolute crickets, bro.
Well, now that Figgy's taking a little break there or doing whatever.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so there is no like main hotspot for it. If you don't want to build next to the kingdom, you don't have to, because the kingdom is just literally everywhere that we want to build. Like it's not specific to one location for some freaky ass reason. Well, it is. They very like near the kingdom. If you go near it, like if you go into a certain area radius around the kingdom, then you're kind of stuck there legally. But just in general, if you just build around it or near it, like you'll be considered a citizen for some weird reason. Anyway, okay, so let me think. So we have that, and then we also have the buildings. Yes, if you're gonna build here, we do want to build with like something that you can carve, cause that's kind of like the culture, man. We carve into mountains, we carve into stone, we carve into terracotta, carve into sandstone, like just kind of that kind of stuff. Anyway, so then we have my person. Her name's Ereshkigal, except like I'm kind of iffy about that name. If you like that, yay. Her last name is Uruli. That's like kind of like how people say last names in Mesopotamian, but you could just say Utu. You could just say that. It's after the sun goddess, I think, if I can remember correctly. It's after some goddess. She's very picky. You should do some research into her. Anyway, so she's the kind of person to rule a kingdom indirectly. She doesn't really she works like a lot, but she just doesn't want to do stuff directly, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so she just kind of manages things through you know, other people. So we have the law enforcement. If you want to be a police, like a guard or something, you can be that. And then we also have religious people because there's a church there, and you get to be in a ziggurat, and the ziggurat is hierarchied from lowest to highest. Because we do have a hierarchy. I know. It's so sad, but you have many opportunities, man. Anyway, we also have the where we get our resources. Okay, so we are allied with Gluttony's Domain, and I'm pretty sure we're also allied with Wrath because we're literally siblings with Wrath. Okay. Anyway, that's just kind of a draft though. I haven't really made it official, but me and Wrath kind of talked about it very vaguely. We haven't like, oh wow, this is set in stone 100%. Anyway, getting the resources from Gluttony because it's like very transactional, and I'm also giving resources to Gluttony as well, so it's like two-sided. Um, anyway, so it's supposed to be like not a small population, but it's a very spread out and usually in like smaller groups. Um, so if you were to be in Pride, just cultural rise doesn't mean you have to do it out of lore or anything. But in lore, um, you would for like everyday life, you would be just kind of doing you would be in a very ordered schedule. Because people usually do things at a certain time, and that's just kind of how it's normalized in their culture. So there's a routine to it, and you will work like daily. So that's one thing, cultural rise or train. It kind of depends on like the ethnicity you are, but pretty much. Not to be racist, that's just how it is because there's one ethnicity that is pretty much a loner and they're like banished from from the kingdom, but also they're still technically part of the kingdom. Anyway, so we have the Tharkesh, right? It's probably one of the most highly looked upon because of how they deal with things. Or at least culture, right? Their culture is more highly looked upon, very specifically because just cuts how they deal with things, right? Um,
Oh lord. We had another end state.
There's mute.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
okay, then we also have the South 30. I will say this, my Reshika, she is a mix of the South 30 and also Tharkesh. So she's a mixed person, right? South 30, they're also kind of like highly looked upon, but like probably like it kind of depends on your opinion. Cause like they do deal with things differently, but they're pretty much the same concept, just in different ways, right? And then we have the Ishrath. They are lowly looked upon, and this is because they're the one that's literally a loner. They don't if Reshiko could literally abolish them, she could literally make their ethnicity go extinct. And she to some extent, she would love to. It's not something she wouldn't love to do. She would absolutely love to make them go extinct, but she doesn't because it would go against her beliefs, and she wants to prove something to her people. And that would be something about yeah, actually, I'm not gonna say that because like I want to make it more obvious later on in lore. Anyway, so they live in like the outer parts of around the area, and um, like more like caves, ruins, anywhere like that isn't populated, right? Or around other people, because they're loners, but they're still like technically part of the kingdom, right? There's that. Yep. Okay, that's pretty much it.
Can I go next?
Yeah.
Go next. So I'm not gonna say as much as Figgy did. Okay, so the church is based off of oh the cosmic goddess. It's not technically not Greek mythology because Zeus technically be the god of like the earth and the sky and that kind of stuff or whatever. Um, I looked it up and I got it and I was like, yeah, that's cool. So that's basically where the name came from. It's a church that pleases, and I'm talking right now. Oh, jeez. They aim to please the gods. You know what? I'm gonna go to my lore thing and I'm gonna read off of it because I can't remember half the shit half the time. Give me 1 second. Oh shit, my dogs are barking now. God damn it. Okay, so there are no species like actively tied to the church since they're not a sin. Most of the species come from the biomes around the church and who lives there. The people that are a part of the church chose to become part of the church because of missionaries and people spreading the religion and the beliefs, etc. main motives. The church area aims to please the cause of gods, believing they're the ones that gifted life freedom. They also have practices including skulk, as it is seen as treasure they were meant to find. They're not affiliated with many people. They don't have many allies, and they don't say they have many enemies either. But they try to stay away from the sins because they believe they are bad luck. And I said I specifically dislike the Pride Kingdom because my reason for saying that is not because I want to mess with Figgy. It's because the amount of slavery and the indentured servitude that there is over there. My character does not like because she really believes in freedom and being able to be free, but the church is kind of like a cult, so that's kind of contradictory to her beliefs. At the same time as you know, yeah, I have a whole forum about my character. I don't really want to talk about that because it would be long, and I don't want the entire backstory because I'm good at talking. I can't read loud. Yeah, basically I'm a hypocrite. I say that my character is two-faced in my forum because she literally is. But yeah, so me and Figgy have spoken.
Hold on, there's
Right.
someone next welcome them.
I'm next. Okay, guys. I will be going next. Hello, everybody. I'm Envy. I know my username's Fat Moth, but it's technically a nickname, and my actual username is Father Mother. When I go into Minecraft, I'm also be addressed as Father Mother. If you're not comfortable, just call me Fat Moth, please. I don't mind if you're not comfortable with such a username. I just use it because it was randomly generated at one point, and I was desperate to pick a nickname, and it will let me pick one. So my kingdom is an industrial and relations kingdom. That means our work is supply. That is what we do. Our job is supply. We are resources. That is our job. Okay. There's a little backstory that is well known. So one thing about the Sins to know is some of their backstory isn't entirely revealed. Some of them is more public than the other, which can be revealed later on. That said, for me, I do have a set species from my kingdom, and that is the Hexbloods. Of course, I will allow other species to come here. The only difference is when I say the Hexbloods is that when I take the children, it's because I made a bargain with them to take the residents and they live there, so they become Hexbloods. But if you were taken, kidnapped, and you weren't through a bargain for per your lore, if that's what you guys prefer, then you guys don't have to be Headlooks and you can keep those kingdoms there. It's just naturally we do have laws and strictness over the abilities you can use till you end up turning into one because that's how Hexblood influence works. Okay? So my character is very much an adult, as I am I. And for the atmosphere, it's gritty, it's industrialized, and it's actually really filthy. I based it off 16th century London, a little bit of Russia, and a little bit of guts and black powder, okay? The citizens do follow a strict schedule, okay, guys? I don't mind a few different palettes, honestly. It's about what we can get and what we have, because as the supply kingdom, we should have everything, and we will continue to go and try to get that is our job. Our job, we will cut down as many trees as possible, get rid of as much as dirt, magic, or fields. That is our job. We will outdo the dwarves, the elves, or whatever other people will do. You can try to be farmers, but I will naturally outdo you because that's how big businesses work. And that's how we work, okay? Mainly it's an industrial cycle. Most residents can get it from a bit of a closed loop trading system. Now, the residents cannot leave the island, but I do not mind you guys having characters where they could escape the island in lore, and then you can talk about that a little bit, where you can say you're previously from Envy, but you escaped. But the thing is, it's just you're not allowed to leave unless you're given a job that allows you to. Okay? Yes. Yes, it's how bad I can be, guys. A lot of it. I don't mind whatever clothes you wear because I said to supply, we have to be creative. So that means your character can wear or build something with the materials they have, but they cannot use certain expensive items like gold, diamonds, silver blocks, simply because we need to use this as trading tools, right? So mainly, we just want to keep the basic crafts of Minecraft for your build. Thank you. Okay? Especially if something's very limited resources, you may not use that either because we're all building in survival. We really want to reflect that. So you can take a fantasy inspiration. Most likely you won't know your culture depending on what age you were brought. So you can use influence there. But everyone's going to live in orphanage factions depending on what job they have. So the farmers can have a little bit more of a floor influence. It's just going to be a little bit dirty, okay? The water is dirty naturally because I want to show that there's a lot of oil production and filth there. There's a lot of foreign mixtures there, so it's natural, okay? What we have as guards, because I know some people have soldiers as guards, but what we have to carry the system are nannies, like the Promised Neverland. I know people are going to reference it at one point, but yes, the nannies. The nannies are the young residents who didn't get adopted, because as this kingdom isn't just relations and supplies, it's also the world's largest orphanage, right? So because it's the world's largest orphanage, the people who didn't get adopted become nannies, or they become delivery men or messengers where they helped work shift supply, they help care for the children, they work on their education, they help guard, and they help with customers as well who come into the island. Want to make sure they don't steal anything or nothing. So they have a lot of beautiful jobs. The very point of this island is that everybody has a role as much as possible. So I would say it's a very cruel, it has a bit of loot things. Farmers feed the miners provide ore for weaponry, and the cover more ensures no unit or like worker is ideal for long, okay? Those who become permanently injured, lore-wise, or too sick to return to work are quickly transferred somewhere else or vanished. Oftentimes, you will either be adopted and you will be moved to another island. Most of the time, that will be gluttony. You won't be told on who your parent is. You will learn the lore of who you're adopted when you get there. You're not informed on much, okay? Whew. Main thing is, we supply other kingdoms and trades. We do have relations with every Sin kingdom, although they might not be fond of Envy, and Envy might not be fond of them. They will consider the job and the business first because how much they are needed. It is a supply chain. We don't mind working with other biomes only if they make a hag bargain. So that means they must carry out my will. Right? Oftentimes, if there is someone who is dead, who had died once in canon, twice in canon, or third in canon, you will technically have a body or a head that is dropped. That will be used in education or the medical world or even for performances. The performances, though, are for live people. Performances happen are public surgeries based on London, 16th century, where we will have a performance and allow people to get expensive tickets to see you being cured. Okay? Even transformation as a hexblood, that would be really, really cool. I think that's great. My whole point is a bit of cruelty, so if you're not comfortable with going into Envy, that is perfectly fine. I do not mind. If you want to be a Hexblood, you escape from the island, you became a Hexblood. That is what you can do. I do not personally mind, but you know there is usually consequences to escaping. Because I do want to make sure everybody has lore, and I don't want to forget about you guys, and I really just want to make sure you guys are part of everything, okay? So if you guys want to be hunted, like a little bunny, then absolutely, that can be totally done. So let me talk about the factions. There's only 12 factions. Every resident is a child or a nanny. Nannies are those who are 20 or older. This counts as species as well. The moment a species matures, they become nannies, okay? And they stay there. Grown children who reach 20 years of age, they serve as mother hens, enforcing strict industrial schedule of the island, okay? For the factions, be known, no rank is higher than the other except for the nannies. The children's factions are based on not skill or danger, but the amount of orders they bring. The more money, the better they are treated. Once assigned, a child cannot switch unless the nannies feel like they're more talented to be put in one, okay? The adopted children are a mysterious group of children chosen to leave the island, okay? Adoption rarely happens, but it could happen in bulk orders. Most likely will happen in bulk orders. You'll be moved similar to a way in like a food or merchant stuff, like that, most likely. You will most likely encounter a gluttony who will take care of you during the intermission phase of it. And then you will learn of your fate there, okay? Understood? Of who you will spend your time with and your families. Got it? Yes, I do talk better than you. The 12 factions, the weaponry are the older children who craft weapons or export under heavy guard. Okay? Safety is considered secredating to meeting shipping quotas. You will be expected to meet a certain quota. Those who don't will get punished, but that will be by the nannies. I would not care for it. The miners, dangerous work in sea case. Because we live on an island and the place is going to be on an island, you could encounter water. It is your job to seal it up and continue going on. Understood? You will be taught mining a little bit how to identify that and your coordinates. The farmers, they help cultivate crops ranging from sugarcane, wheat, cacao beans, and flowers. Fishing, managing the port and acts as the weather watcher, securing the island against storms. So if there's a storm, everything has to be closed up to keep shipping perfectly fine. We don't want to lose millions of dollars because of rain. So they will be in charge of fishing. And if something gets ruined by the rain or anything weather related or people coming, they will be at fault and will be punished publicly. Transformation and delivery. The strongest children and the most trusted move bulk orders to the docks for external trade, okay? Textiles. They handle wool, feather, leather. Younger kids mix toxic dyes while older ones operate the looms. These are the banners. They can dye the leather. They can dye the beds. The livestock. They manage the breeding programs in the slaughterhouse to provide beef, pork, and honey from bees. And now let's get into the cool ones. I'm not sure people are going to want. The enchanting team. The Hexblood children, influenced by Envy's magic, they will repair and enchant industrial tools, which means they will have chance to earn XP. And because of their Hexblood, they will be able to enchant much easier compared to the normal player in Minecraft, okay? So that's what gives you your ability to do that. You're super OP and super cool. Got it? Awesome, right? Potion making, high intelligence hexblood to craft alchemy mixtures for the kingdom's trade. Okay? People are gonna want potions. That's super awesome. You will be given the supply to do that. If you don't have it, you will still be blamed anyway if it's not your fault. Hence, the magical beast, a specially hybrid faction of farmers and slaves who manage skeleton, creeper, and sniffer farms. You will be collecting gunpowder, the sniffer plants, and bones. You will help kill these mobs and to make sure everything ensures perfectly fine. If you die or get injured, you have to go to the medical ward. The recovery ward, which is our medical. The island's infirmary. Instead of true healing, we focus on industrial repair, using harsh tonics to get injured children back to their faction as quickly as possible. If you have a stomachache, you will go through bloodletting, which is where we will pierce you with a small knife, like a little jab, and we'll let some blood flow out, because that is where the bad blood will be. So most of it is pretty much based on London, right? If you have an infection, we can amputate it, and then you can go back to work. So who doesn't want to lose a limb? Pretty good way to do lore. And the last but not least, the high great people are our nannies, which I've told you about. Caretakers, teachers, and guards. They're in charge of keeping the children in line, allowing a little bit of fun. Educating them on basics, they're also the line of defense, along sure not a single child comes in or out. They watch over any people from newer kingdoms who come over to watch the show, acting as a buffer or servant, as well as a spy. Making sure they don't step close to the children or teach them anything wrong. The children have to be taught what Envy wants them to be taught. Right? The island is open to supply, and as long as deals are made. The most important thing are deals. Tickets are expensive. We expect money and have a good system. We don't mind trading, but as long as the trade is equal, we are not easily skimmed. We are intelligent and we are formidable. That is our job. Our greatest mind is intelligence. The mind is we succeed for the future. Of course, the children are allowed to play, eat, and have food, and children are allowed free time per the nanny's watch. Each faction has a few groups of nannies, which you could, as players, can apply as nanny, or you can be a child residence. You can pick your own faction to work with unless they're full, okay? And depending on that, you can help build the orphanage, which you will all share. Thank you. We have great relations with the other kingdom per se. Some people will come in for delivery. There can be people who will be delivered. So they can go to other kingdom and deliver port and money, but they have to come back. If they do not come back in expected time, nannies will be expected to go out and hunt for them to either bring them back dead or alive. Thank you, and that will be it. That I'm done. Who's going next? Glut, you don't want to go next since you want to go next, honey, or who's going next? Glut, you don't want to go next, or Hoshi, you want to go next? We're quiet in here, guys. Guys, who are we forcing next? Since nobody's volunteering, let's force somebody to go next, guys. I'm gonna have to pick some names from straws. Okay, guys. You can't speak vocally? Okay. Blessing, since you also have a place where people can go, you can absolutely come up here. Just raise your hand, please, and we can get you up here. Okay, let me get you here.
Wee wee wee. What? Wee 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 wee.
By the way, guys, Blessing is the only person that is allowed to have their own group outside of the Sins, because they are still technically connected to this all of the Sins.
Hey guys, can we normalize calling the Sins priest instead of Sins?
Yeah, wait. But my character's not a priest though, so she's a sin.
How is she a sin? What?
We and me, Fat Moth, and Lust already talked about this. I don't think Figgy were there.
No, yeah, no, we never talked about this. What?
Some sins are grace, some sins are just the sins. Oh my god, why am I fucking calling me again?
Yeah.
I'm trying to eat my ice cream.
How are they sins? How are they sins? How are they legitimately solid sins? Yeah, buttered. Okay, they're just not gonna say it. What the frick? Oh yeah, sure.
Really enjoying this. I said I'm really enjoying this ice cream.
Oh my goodness, that is so
It's
amazing.
it is talenti. It's one of those talenti things, you know, with like people always say it's impossible to get the top off, but it's mango sorbet and it's really good. Sorry, I had to tell you guys.
Fat Moth, I have a question. Do you want to move to staff BC so we can really could like talk about this and then we'll join back? Cause
Can I go
I
too?
am, yeah, I'm very curious about the sin thing. Cause like I'm very iffy about it. If I'm gonna be honest.
Yes, we can definitely do that about the sins. We can just have another meeting again tomorrow about a little bit of the kingdoms because anyway, I'm sure some people need to go to bed, and also I'm getting messages about people who want to participate but couldn't.
No, no, no.
So
I'm
we're not going to go over the whole guidelines again, just the lore and the kingdoms to help make a decision, unless people have questions.
yeah. I just figured since me the thousand me the big is still talking that we could just like just talk elsewhere in the meanwhile. It doesn't mean this stage has to end or anything.
Yeah, of course. But I think it's just better to call the meeting for now, just because we've been on for 3 hours. But we
Okay.
can, I'll go to the writing chat staff. Anyway,
Yeah,
thank
and
you
I'm
everybody
sure
for coming.
Blessing's storage is dying right now.
Yeah. Also,
Okay.
everyone, thank you for coming and listening and for staying for so long. I know it was long and a little bit boring. It was really nice. If you guys ever have any questions, you can DM me personally or ask questions in the general chat because even players can help ask questions. If you're in a sin, specifically have that question, you can go over to the groups that you're in because when you go into the world, there is a tag that says it. Make sure to go over the species. I know some of them have odd names, but some of them are really, really cool. So just check over them. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Everyone, we can go to the writers or staff. Whichever one.
Okay,
Bye,
also,
everyone. My
shout
DMs
out,
are also
shout out, wait,
open.
hold on. Wait, I gotta give out a shout out real quick. Shout out to my best bud, Tori Thievel, man. Okay, it wasn't actually a shout out. I'm just gonna tell you, get into the freaking Writers VC. You will follow us now. Anyway, yeah, that's it.
Can I just say thank you to everyone that's been here the entire time and has not left yet? Specifically Arcans and Adia
You're
or
welcome.
whatever. Gary,
You
you
are
left
so
after like
welcome.
20 minutes and just came back.
I went to go eat food.
I ate for
And most
5
of all,
minutes and I'm
thank you
still in
to
the beast.
me who did this. Spoke for 3 hours.
I am also eating right now. I am eating mango Tillanti sorbet. Huh? What do you want?
Oh, this shit. Okay, yeah, Tori Thievel, follow me to Writers. Anyone else who wants to be done meeting? Yeah. Bye. Means that was me the big continue yapping if you want to.
Hello. I'm confused what's happening to me. I was told to join this VC so they can. I don't. So apparently.